I was in the vacuum of space when suddenly my ship suffered orbital hull failure. 5 seconds later, I have crash landed on this alien planet, which is primarily encompassed in water. I'm a land dwelling kind of fella, and as such, the biomes of this liquid sphere make me most uncomfortable. Therefore, my primary objective is to make a rocket and hastily leave this watery globe. What stands in my way are the plethora of megafauna that inhabit these dangerous waters, the presence of a sentient alien civilization that are denying my salvation, and my own reluctance but necessity to venture into these deep dark depths. I played 100% of Subnautica. This story begins with a dramatic sense of urgency, a quick trip into my seat, followed with launching an escape pod it seems. That tiny window up there reveals the fate of my previous ship. It just blew up. Not only that, there seems to be some paranormal activity in this tiny pod, some haunted items. Of course you know what happens next. Clang clang get wrecked scrub. Cue the intense fire. I can't escape my chair. A false alarm. I'm free and able to extinguish these flames from Hades, and after a quick moment I have done exactly that. No more tension, I can take a slight breather. Out comes this, whatever this thing is. Tap tap bugger, it's broken of course, but I can boot it in emergency mode. Good-o. I have suffered a minor head trauma, which is considered an optimal outcome in this regard. In this emergency mode, this PDA, which stands for something I'm sure, it has one directive: keep me alive on an alien world. Well, for now, all I can see is my life pod. It looks badly damaged. I can interact with this fabricator, but as I have nothing on me, I can't really do anything with it as of yet. In my storage, I have some flares, water, and dog biscuits from the looks of it. Well, best not dilly-dally any longer. An alien world awaits me outside. Hey buddy, how are we? Mate. My PDA chimes in. Should probably come up with a name for her. Anyways, she's saying that the Aurora, the ship I was on, has suffered orbital hull failure. Cause unknown. 0 human life signs detected. A strong start, I like it. It is time to showcase my athleticism by executing a magnificent swan dive into the water. Oh yeah, it looks good and watery. I'm prompted to break this limestone outcrop. I get some copper from it, and Paige says that this will be useful for all powered equipment. She's also cheeky, saying that my probability of survival is now unlikely. Okay, thanks love. I go ahead and snag some acid mushrooms, abscond with my first alien creature that was helplessly bouncing on the surface. This was my first, and here's the next. Come here little fella, come here you. Hey buddy. Alright, let's stop taunting the wildlife and see if I can find anything else that might help me in my survival. This is as basic survival as you can get, literally dropped in, and you just have to figure it out. And by that I mean you have to, in this case, swim around and try and just find something that's going to help you in your endeavors at this moment, which is to keep me alive. Yep, very much a classic survival experience this first part of the game. I come across something out of place. Looks like it's debris from the Aurora, a sea glider fragment. I can't do anything with it just yet. However, I observe a larger native fauna. This fella's inspiration was clearly those gas masks from World War I. They also dug trenches in that particular wall. This is not a trench, but a natural cave system. I steal some random creature egg here. Paige cuts in again, and at that exact time, a creature decides to attack me. I don't hear anything until I take a massive hit. I think I just got attacked by something. Yes, you got attacked by something. Anyways, in this cave, I find a few higher end materials. Lead, gold, and silver. I nearly drown when I leave, and I realize at this point that I in fact nearly died. And no matter, I make some filtered water with a bladderfish. Okay, righto. I go ahead and cook up this Gary fish because he looked at me funny, and apparently my fella decided to name him that. My inventory is really full. I've been quite busy actually. I eat a few fish and I use a first aid kit I found earlier in my pod I believe. I make a battery from acid mushrooms and copper ore. That was a random choice and I focus now. I need a repair tool to fix my pod. I look at my equipment that I can make. scanner, repair tool, flashlight, and what looks like a knife down there. I endeavored to just go out and get more stuff, and shocked to see that it has already become nighttime. Yeah, this place looks haunting in the darkness. However, it's not the darkness I should fear. Oh, he got me, mate. Not only did you get killed by a fish, mate, he also mugged you. He absconded with your belongings. I go to my gravesite. There's no loot, so no bag of stuff I can retrieve in this game. The offending fish is also not here, but I do steal its belongings, which is sulfur. I go ahead and I steal some titanium from this outcrop, and my god, I'm getting nostalgia for my 100% Planet Crafter video. All the resources I'm collecting are the same. Back at my pod, I go ahead and upgrade my O2 tank, and I nearly doubled my oxygen capacity, which is quite nice. I refined some glass out of quartz, and with that, plus a battery I made earlier, I was able to make a flashlight, which is hugely appreciated during the night time. Well, I don't need my flashlight anymore. Oh look, the night time will be back, and I'll be ready then. I'm at the same cave as before, and it becomes obvious to me that resources are in these rock formations. You have to be perceptive, they can be easy to miss sometimes. Paige chimes in again. She's detecting increased local radiation levels, and this is consistent to the damage to the Aurora's drive core as a result of crashing on this planet. Chunks of that ship can be found around, of course. Some salvageable metal. I come across deeper waters and these giant vines that stretch all the way to the surface. I spy a bigger predator looking fish over there. It has teeth and it's hunting a smaller one. I take my chance. I dive down and grab as many of these creepvine seed clusters, which is used to make both silicon and lubricant from the looks of it. I now have what I need to make this repair tool, and with it I start to fix my ship. Lifeboat's secondary systems are back online, and a full environmental diagnostic is being conducted. I go ahead and fix my radio, and it starts to send out a radio distress signal. Now, earlier this thing was all red. Everything was offline, obviously. It's all green now, so looking good. And the only thing I'm going to mention here, for the plot of course, is at the bottom. The waterborne bacteria levels are quite high on this planet. Back at my radio, I can receive transmissions, but it looks like my own is busted and I can't send out a distress signal properly. Rescue will arrive in oh yeah, that's gonna take over 11 years. Well, best equip myself for a long stay. A knife will come in handy. I eat some food to satisfy some hunger. My vitals are down there, by the way. Health, hunger, water, and the big one is my oxygen, which I'm always going to have to be mindful of. I go ahead and refine a few things. That metal chunk breaks down into titanium, and the creepvine clusters, as mentioned before, I can make silicon rubber and lubricant with. I do all this crafting here at this fabricator, and it reduces the power I have up there, which is the power of my life pod. I go ahead and make myself a scanner, so this thing allows me to scan everything on this planet, as well as scan any parts out in the world like that sea glider fragment I found before, so that I can hopefully make my own. For right now, I can make myself some fins so that I can swim 15% faster. And with my movement speed upgrade and this flashlight, I spotted this danger a mile away. He is still faster than me, but I'm more agile and I swim away unscathed from this altercation. I'm specifically looking for quartz on this outing, but I need to remember, never get too involved in your searches. Oh, can I actually get one more quartz? That'd be good. Oh shit! Oh crap, I'm gonna die. Oh crap, I'm gonna die. Oh crap, I'm gonna die. No. Oh crap. Okay. Oxygen is not a joke in this game. I'm literally trying to find the things to improve my oxygen, and I nearly suffocated or drowned, sorry. God damn. Okay. After that bit of excitement, I go home and I see that I have the option to self-scan?
Self-scan complete. Vital signs normal. Continuing to monitor.
Okay, well apparently I'm normal. Yep, as normal as they come, I guess. But at least I'll be able to hold my breath longer now with this upgrade, from 75 to 135. I imagine that's seconds. I attempt a risky endeavor, which is scanning Mr. World War I fella's bum. Apparently he's called a gasopod, which sounds appropriate. I'm diving down here and I'm listening to the ambience. Alright, let's go. Creatures are making strange noises. That last one was distant. A creak or a roar? It doesn't matter. That one I didn't notice yet. Nope, I'm just minding my own business, gathering some stuff and things. This tube-looking place had a lot of stuff I can pilfer. My scanner says that this is a veined nettle. I have no idea what this is, but I can cut it and it looks like I get seeds from it. Back at my pod, I make a floating locker sort of thing, a floating storage, and I fill it to the brim with everything I've absconded with thus far. I wanted a chest of fish, so I chased down some unlucky specimens. However, I'm not the only hunter.
Hey, I'm gonna get this going. No, yeah boy, get ya.
And stay out. After I deal with the rude bastard, I see this grav trap fragment. No idea what this thing is, but I can scan it. And when I do, I see that I have 1 out of 2, meaning I need to scan one more piece to get the full understanding of this thing. I'm a bit hungry and I still have some cooked fish. Well, it's decomposing by this point. I don't realize that, and in this state, it destroys my water. In fact, it takes all of it and I take damage, which I can now confirm in the editing stage. The damage I just received was because of accidental forced dehydration, not this reason. Did my guy just scream out in pain because he ate spoiled food? Mate, harden the f*** up. As I'm mocking my fella, I notice my radio has a message for me. I go ahead and cook all my food at this point, and in doing so, I completely drain my life pod of all its power. I have to wait for the solar panel thing to charge it up a bit. Paige decides to take the piss again. The boomerangs are better, the cooked peepers are good.
Survivor. You have exceeded your weekly exercise quotient by 500%. Data indicates that swimming was your favorite activity. Be sure to vary your routine for uniform muscle development.
I go ahead and I make myself a hungry chest, but I swear I only cooked these things like 5 seconds ago and they're already spoiling, and spoilage is what made my guy cry before. Perhaps I shouldn't keep stores of cooked food. Anyways, about that radio message.
This is Lifepod 3 uploading our coordinates. We're plugging some holes in our emergency sea glide, so if we're late for the rendezvous, don't panic. Also, don't go home without us. Seriously. 3 out.
Oh, well, there's other people out there, and I should probably go find them. Paige has downloaded the signal to my PDA, and I have a beacon for them. It's about 400 meters away from me. Now, while I'm slapping this brain coral, I have to reiterate what Paige said earlier, which is that she detected 0 human life forms on this planet. Something I obviously missed or forgot at this point. But moving on, I was able to dodge Mr. Puff Puff number 1, Puff Puff number 2, but not Puff Puff number 3.
Oh my god! Ah, bloody hell, man.
I wanted to have a quick feed, but I see that all of my cooked food, although they still give me a bit of hunger, they all take my H2O now, meaning this is completely useless to me. I need to go and replenish my stocks, and while I do, Paige says that the radiation levels on the Aurora has reached a critical state, that a detonation will occur in 2 hours. Until then, I start to throw what seems to be a living fish into this chest, so that when I need a meal, I will cook and have it fresh. Now, during this time, I have gathered and looked at my fabricator until I had the resources to make myself the habitat builder. I was very keen to make myself a proper base. I saw that I had some blueprints already available to me, so I was pretty excited for this. However, I didn't see something at this time, and well, lucky for me, because I got distracted by the fact that I can see the sea glider and that graph thing in my fabricator. They are missing ingredients, which compelled me to go exploring looking for those blueprints or fragments so that I can go ahead and make these things. But not before staring at an orange moon for a few moments. Yes, very pretty. And I decide I might as well go to this distress signal while I'm looking for things. Swimming in the darkness is quite daunting, so I'm glad I finally remembered I had a flashlight. I had a Mexican standoff with this fella, not taking my eyes off him, but I did, because I saw a game tip that I can cut these vines with my knife. So of course I do that, making sure to steal a whole bunch of it. Now, under the cover of darkness, I have found life pod number 3. It's sunk into the bottom of the ocean, which is about 15 meters down at this point. Outside on the ground, I find my first sea glide fragment I can scan up, and I see my point of entry in the side of this pod. Interestingly enough, I'm only noticing this now in the editing stage that the pod looks like it has exploded from the inside. No matter, inside is a data box, and this contains the compass blueprint for me, and I find an abandoned PDA here, but nothing else it seems. This pod looks identical to my own. No one is here, obviously, and in-game me only assumed that they were attacked and they're all gone now. I go home, and another radio signal is beeping at me again already, but before that I take a moment and I see where I can listen to that PDA I got from LifePod 3. Here we go. Okay.
You really think it'll carry 2 of us?
Your regular sea glide tows a mass of 80 kilograms at over 30 kilometers an hour. The power cell rigged to this one should double that.
You think there's something out there that's faster?
Oh, sure. And that's assuming it doesn't overload 3 meters from the life pod.
You're calm about this?
I'm seeing the engineering problem. If I stop seeing the maths, I'll be terrified.
Alright, so Oldmate was trying to upgrade his regular sea glide with a power cell or something for faster speed, yet maybe it blew up in their faces, and that explains why the hole in the ship looks like it originated from inside the ship. Okay then. Now, I have a very unfortunate occurrence next. I listen to the other radio message at the exact time when Paige informs me it's time for the Aurora to go boom boom. I was very confused because I had 2 things talking to me at the exact same time, but I remembered the Aurora was supposed to explode, so I go ahead and focused on the countdown. The other message is from a Mr. Avery Quinn, who's currently on the Sunbeam and asking if the Aurora reads him. Of course, he's not gonna hear anything because the ship's already crashed and it's about to go boom. Anyways, he lets anybody who gets this message know that he's about a week away from our position and if we still need assistance. As we aren't picking up, he will try calling again tomorrow. And in all that excitement, I've been sent the radiation suit blueprint, so I should probably go ahead and make this as the radiation levels will probably be higher now. And it's a little bit later and I have collected what I need. I have another distress call a short time later.
This is Life Pod 6. I have a passenger on board. Coordinates attached. We've landed a kilometer from the crash site, but there's radiation in between us and the rendezvous. Request immediate assistance. 6 out.
Yeah, that doesn't help me much. I mean, a 1 kilometer radius around the Aurora, that's a lot of space to search for. I'm going to ignore that and I'm going to explore on my own. I have to expand my storage as I'm currently looting up a storm, and I figured out how I can switch batteries in my tools. I open up a hotbar pinwheel thing and I switch them out like this. It also says it has a charge, so maybe I can recharge these things somehow. I find my last grav fragment here, as well as my sea glide one. A quick thing about this game, the start I find is a bit slow. You have to search and find the fragments for things you need to unlock. The longer you take to find them, well, that just sucks to be you. Anyways, I go ahead and I make myself the glider, and with it I have increased my speed in the water, though it's something I always have to carry in my inventory from now on. I release my grav trap, and what this thing does is it behaves like a magnet. It grabs any small ocean dwellers unfortunate to get close to keep them tethered to this ball.
Oh my god. You serious?
Indeed, the ball is serious. If used correctly, I won't have to do any more hunting for my food and water. I mean, they're kind of free-range creatures now within a limited space. Speaking of space, Old Boy on his sunbeam out there is contacting someone again. He seems to have picked up that the Aurora has had an accident and that we weren't ignoring him before. They are now en route to our location and they want to bring us home. I'm still in the early game, a new session of play for me, and I come back to another distress signal. This one is from Ozzy, based in the cafeteria, having a bit of a whinge. The pod nearly got crushed by the Seamoth Bay on the way down. They're chilling on the edge of a cave system, and some snake-looking things Seamoths trying to get acquainted with them by eating through their hull. I'm assuming that they want help. Now this one, lifepod number 17, has actually sent me coordinates and I can see them. However, there was another one that I couldn't see on my HUD, and I also thought that I heard a plane just now. Am I hearing a plane? Oh wait, no, it's my grav. Oh, that's funny. Afterwards, I'm looking for silver, but I find I keep retracing my steps somehow and not finding many new areas. I was afraid to stray too far from my pod and sticking to the shallows. I see another grav fragment, but when I scan something I already know, I simply get some titanium for my trouble. I do find salt, which is something new, and while I'm being stared at, I then discovered that these brain corals, they keep spitting out bubbles, air bubbles, and I can get my oxygen back if I float in them. I venture further and I see a new kind of fish, as well as hear something big. Okay, yeah, that's something new. Don't know him, but there's a... Oh, I'm hearing Ochi. Truth be told, this game is old. Once I lay eyes on this fella, I'm also calmed because I know that these big fellas are passive. I'm floating about, and Paige says that this area is home to a few cave networks. In fact, Ozzy from his pod said that some snake things was attacking him on the edge of a cave system. I approach this badly damaged pod and right away I see a PDA which I snag up. That's all I can see here, but outside I see a Seamoth fragment and I make sure to scan it up. What's this? A moth sea fragment. Alright, let's go ahead and get this. Ignoring my manly grunts of terror, that's 1 out of 3 Seamoth fragments, and on the surface I navigate my PDA for a little bit to try and figure it out. I have a few locations I can turn on and off on my HUD, and I discovered the databank where I have some information downloads on the Aurora survivors. There's one section where I can listen to those PDAs I find in there. For example, old boy Aussie man here, missing the luxury life the moment his pod has crashed down. There's also this codes and clues section, which I personally will have to pay attention to and reread frequently in this playthrough. Lifepod number 6 contacted me earlier, and they gave me no coordinates, but I can see a set of clues. They sank 100 meters down, located in an area dense with red grass, near a natural arch, and the last transmission, it occurred 400 meters west-northwest of Lifeport 4's last location. I am Lifeport number 5, which means I don't know where number 4 is, so until I get more information about number 4, I am not finding number 6. I do find sand sharks though. Oh shit! Are you coming for me, fella? No, you're not. You're a sand shark, are you? So are you. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit upwards. I do not like the way that those guys can ambush you from the ground. Okay, I'm going to go from pillar for pillar. And from the sound of that, I was enjoying myself. I went to visit some friendly faces, and I gazed upon the reef backs, and they're called as such because they have got reefs on their backs. I see old Toothy boy here bullying a smaller fish, so I decide to go and bully him, and from this short scuffle, I see that these guys aren't as bad as you think, but it's the ambience in this game that really puts the terror in me. I see a tiger plant, and this thing is shooting me with something. With my recent outing, I got the resources I needed to make myself a compass. It's on the top of my HUD now, and this should help my navigational troubles. This does aid me, but I see that when I dive more than 100 meters down, my oxygen depletes quicker, so I need to make myself a rebreather, I think. Paige reminds me of this fact every time I do dive more than 100 meters. I find a bioreactor fragment, all the while I'm being constantly followed. Would you people piss off? Telling an alien he's a person and he needs to piss off. Yeah, flawless logic there. I found a vending machine blueprint, which I never made, but this is my second Seamoth fragment, and I can definitely tell you I made this one. Maybe twice. As well as this rebreather I'm about to craft. It conserves oxygen when diving deeper, which sounds pretty fine to me. However, I see that when I put it on, I take off my radiation helmet, so I have to choose between these two. Until I have to make that choice, it's business as usual, searching for blueprints. This is my last Seamoth one. I swear in terror at the local fauna. I stare in total terror awe at how deep this cave network is going to take me. And when I gawk into this big nope, a page informs me as to why I consider it a big nope. but she does mention there's an artificial structure in there, which is a really odd thing to say. I don't think I need to say anything about my reaction here. Oh, that's my own fin. God damn, looking straight down, see my own feet and shit myself. Okay. Yeah, that goes deep. I don't have the capability of doing that just yet. Good lord, that terrified me. Oh yeah, nah, better head off. And that was also my other half laughing at me, at my pod. I wanted to make this sea moth, but found nowhere to make it. And upon further inspection, I gathered I had to make something else first. This mobile vehicle bay, because it's under the subcategory. Now, I have 0 out of 3 fragments for that vehicle bay. Bugger! Before I head back out, I checked the radio, and it was that Sunbeam fella saying that they are quite close, and they will be in touch soon. I found that every time I dived for a little while, I went into the Lifeport 17 direction for some reason, so I turned its location off. I went another way, and unbeknownst to me, it was towards the Aurora, and I got that radiation warning. I was not overly surprised by this, but I go ahead and choose new currents, and here I found a few new things. This beacon fragment, it might help me immensely in this game. A laser cutter a bit later, but that's 1 out of 3. I see a chunk of salt here, but it says I need special equipment to harvest it. And then, for a little time, I kept coming across the same fragments I have, which was really quite frustrating. And all the while experiencing the terror of this ocean. That's enough out of you. Talking to a fish, clearly losing his mind. Later, I see a very big chunk of the Aurora over there, and I decide to investigate. I find the scanner room fragment, and that was the only new one over here. I'm heading into another new direction, and I decided to up my graphics just now because I wanted to. And of course, you know what I'm going to have a beautiful view of next. Okay. Fair enough. I see where this is taking me. I am going the opposite direction. God damn, I had to see that in beautiful graphics, didn't I? Yep, you sure did. And I was just about to give up hope for the vehicle bay fragments. Again, I'm still stuck on the fact that I can't find the mobile vehicle places. This is starting to really bother me. Oh, here we go. I've been searching for quite a while by this point, and I made sure to stick in this area and grab all that I needed because I found out that specific things are in the same general location, or in a general compass direction, and I wanted to keep this in my head. I gathered what I needed for this thing, and I was finally able to craft it. There we go. I deploy this thing outside, scoped out materials needed for the Seamoth, and as I've been playing this game for about 5-ish hours by this point, I have found all the resources I needed already. I'm a bit peeved I made this thing in the dark. It's hard to see, but I got the achievement for it anyways.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
I feel the power! Yeah, he sounds very excited, doesn't he? This thing also comes with its own light source, so I really did feel invincible right now. Which is kind of unlucky. I get a message from the Sunbeam. They will be touching down very soon. They're about 40 minutes away, so okay, let's go feel like a god for 40 minutes. They have given me coordinates, so I'm going to head there soon. It's about 1100 meters away. That will be in fact the furthest I've ever been from home. Now, about feeling like a god. Ramming speed. I am laughing, but I also noticed my moth took 11 points of damage, so maybe I need to keep myself in check. I don't want to make too much of a fool of myself. As I leap out of the waters like a mammalian dolphin, I remembered there was a repair tool, so I'll probably need to use that on my moth very soon. Now, at this point, the sea moth produces oxygen. I can dive deeper down, get out and explore, and get my oxygen back in this thing, which is a huge step up for my productivity and my exploration. However, here's my first taste in humility. The sea moth can only dive down 200 meters before taking crush damage, and before I know it, my vehicle is at 48% health. yeah, that's not good. I surface, take out this repair tool which I made before, and I fix her right up. Sure, I can fix her up, but in the space of 5 minutes, I was able to do 50% damage to this vehicle. I really need to take this reality check seriously. But I go down again, and I thought I'd just leave it above the 200-meter mark and swim down and explore myself. But after staring for roughly 5 or so seconds, I noped out of there. I go for an exploring session while I'm waiting for the sunbeam. I really appreciate the speed of the moth, that is at least a huge bonus. But I realized that even hitting the smaller fish, it does damage to my moth. It's not like a bug hitting your car. No, if I ram enough small fishes, I will break my moth. So I decide to head to the coordinates. I'm approaching the location. There seems to be a bit of land that's above seawater level, which is new. And Paige says something about a massive energy signature in this region that she can't identify. And funny enough, I'm not paying attention. No, I'm hearing that same roaring I heard before when I encountered the big fella. And I also see a fragment here, a Cyclops fragment. Now, there is this land here, and what the hell? There's a structure here. I also see a bulbo tree. I've no idea what this is, and this looks like a crab, a cave crab, that lunges at me and it tries to bite my toes. I find a cave over here. I should probably live here. I am a land dweller after all, but even this cave is partially submerged in water. I ignore all of this and see whatever this is up here, but as I approach it, I see a scannable purple tablet fragment. My PDA states it's a carbon-based device. Looks like it features a U. This thing looks like it was very old, perhaps 1,000 years. It's way beyond human technology, and thus difficult to discern how to interface with it. However, it should be possible to fabricate a precise physical copy of this thing if I need to. Okay, fair enough. Moving on, I see what looks like an entrance and a force field control panel. It's asking me to insert the tablet, which I don't have. I have a fragment. I go ahead and walk into a wall. I admire the ocean from land, and in this water, I see this place is connected to giant, what are those, power lines or something? Yeah, okay, the guys are gonna be very surprised when they come and land here, and there's this structure here. Yeah, this is the only land I've seen, so naturally they will also try to land here. Well, let's see how that goes. I climb this hill, and by sheer coincidence, I find a purple tablet up here. Bargain. I utilize this thing and the force field is down. Dare I explore this place for the next 10 minutes until the sunbeam comes down? I cautiously sneak my way inside, constantly checking my surroundings. Paige says the metal this place is built from is amazing metal, and that she has no idea what it is. Its structural integrity is through the roof, and the patterns here are visually striking as well. I get an achievement to find the enforcement platform. Excuse me, come again? There's a data terminal here. It's an unknown language, which is a given, and Paige will attempt a translation. The only information I'll share here is that this place was designed by individuals who had the power to telepathically communicate their information back and forth, meaning they were much more psychologically developed than humans. Further in, I see this green cube, which reminds me of that slime cube in Dungeons and Dragons. It gives me the creeps. I scan it, and it's an ion cube. When I read its PDA, it says this mineral is not on our periodic table. It has the capability to store a massive amount of energy. The long short of it, these are powerful batteries. There's a lot of information here. There's another databank entry. In short, this facility was built, but it's powered by another power plant somewhere on this planet. The designers of this place intended to harness the planet's natural thermal energy. Also, here's a jump scare for you.
Would you jump?
Okay, that's really creepy. That is really creepy. Is that a teleport, is it? Yeah, a teleport or a lift. There's a pool of water down here that seems to lead outside, and a passage that goes further in. But you know what? I have a date with a little something called rescue, so I'm going to take my leave now. It's been very fun. I go ahead and stare at this moon for a few minutes. Riveting stuff this. And from this high ground here, the sunbeam should have no problem seeing me. However, there's a change in plans. What the hell? The building does a transformer type thing. It looks like an arm aiming towards the sky, and an alarm starts blaring.
Survivor, we see you.
Yeah?
Man, I don't know how you held out down there.
Where you see me, mate?
We broke an atmosphere, and we're descending towards the landing site.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look
building
good.
down there? What do you mean you can't identify it?
Oh
Hold on. No turning back now.
crap.
Positions, everyone. Touching down in 10, 9, 8. It's coming from the building? Change course. Set thrusters to full.
Holy shit. And just like that, the sunbeam is gone. The structure, the enforcement platform, a giant gun. I am left speechless. My thoughts turn to the start of the game. The Aurora crashed here. Or were we shot down just like this? After it's all done, it calmly moves back to its original position, like it was never capable of such total destruction. After seeing that, I obviously have to go in there and beat someone up, don't I? Oh yeah, classic Aussie behavior. I stomp my way in, ready to give someone a hiding, but inside, I find no one, just traces of someone, an alien rifle in this instance. I stop and stare at this thing for a moment. I've seen pieces of Stargate in my time, and this thing looks like a portal, though I couldn't be sure. What I am sure of is that I'm some sort of thief. I steal another purple tablet here, but I am forced to use it shortly later to open this other door, where I would find my would-be combatant inside. Sure, I'll interact with this thing. I'll give it a little bit of a poke. And I'm snagged. Oh crap. I'm high. How are we?
The control panel is broadcasting a message. Translation reads, "Warning, infected individuals may not disable the weapon. This planet is under quarantine."
Excuse me, come again? I am healthy, thank you, except for a recent stab wound. Paige says more information was broadcasted, and she was able to summarize that for me in my PDA. I do a self-scan, and this time it comes back with a bacterial infection detected in my system, and it is progressing. A skin irritation and an immune system response will become evident. So in summary, I have found a giant gun. It blew up the sunbeam and probably the Aurora as well. The terminal inside this place said that an infected individual can't turn this place off. As it gave me a good stabbing, it stated that I'm infected, and as a result, it has put this planet under quarantine. I'm yet to read the other PDA data that Paige was able to translate for me. The thing is, I may have missed that. That is a shame, because you'll find out soon. I really needed to do some reading. However, it's not as bad as I think. I see I have a radio message. The sunbeam is gone, so maybe another survivor? Indeed. It's a message from Officer Keen and Lifepod 19. Oh my god, do I have to find 19 of these? Anyways, Captain is gone and All Boy has assumed command. The last instructions he got was a set of coordinates on dry land where everyone is to regroup. It's 1.5 kilometers southwest of the Aurora. The exact location is corrupted, but Paige says that she was able to download the location of its last transmission. Speaking of downloadables, I see I can now make purple tablets with diamonds and ion cubes. Alright, good to know. But it's nice to see my past self get distracted by a few blueprints he needs to get, and seeing as I was doing so much of that already, I kind of tunnel visioned here a bit. One thing that's a bother as well is the constant need to eat and drink. This is natural, of course, don't get me wrong, but I found that I was frequently returning home to keep these vitals up, so it always felt like I was slowly progressing at this point, as I was always tethered to my pod, bound to return every 30-ish minutes. It may sound like a long time, but it always felt like time goes really quickly playing this game. But honestly, here's the real reason for my lack of exploration. I'm gonna have to overcome my fear in this game, but if I keep putting things off and avoiding areas, I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere, so I really need to start risking life and limb, so to speak. If I die, it's perfectly fine. Yeah, the game does a wonderful job of making you feel incredibly vulnerable. However, with a laser cutter, I will feel less so. Not exactly sure why, but I do. But at this point, I started to feel burdened. I have found so much stuff which I stuff into waterproof lockers. I'm starting to feel the urge. I really wanted to make a base, but I don't exactly know how to do that. I was out exploring as normal, and I finally, by chance, come across lifeport number 6. I hop to it, and as I approach this one, I also notice that the hole in the ship seems to have originated from inside the ship. This is odd. I go ahead and steal the PDA, notice there's a few flares in here, and move on. But here's my answer.
What are you doing?
You were gone so long. I thought you drowned.
Put the flare down.
I was going to try and attract someone's attention.
That's not a distress flare. Stop waving it around like that. You'll catch the fuel line.
Ooh, okay. Jesus, these people killed themselves, did they? Looks like they did. Idiots. And now it's my turn to prove I'm an idiot. Looking at the codes and clues section, I can discern that lifeport number 4 is about 400 meters southeast of this one, so I try and head into that direction, but it is easy to stray off a chosen path. I see a new biome here, no idea what this place is, but it looks like mushroom trees and ghost looking fishies. As this was new to me, I got distracted from my lifeport 4 goal, and fun fact, I don't find it for quite a while. I come face to face with a ghostie, and I had such a sigh of relief that they turned out to be friendlies. I then see something really unusual, followed with a non-friendly. You are not friendly. No, that wasn't a friendly, and after more than an hour of swimming here and everywhere, I found the last scanner room fragment. Much later in my playthrough, I come to love this room. But for now, I see something off. Wait, why is it so dark again? Oh my god, it's an eclipse. That is so creepy. Okay then. Right, let's make something I should know about, a habitat builder. I was about to test this bad boy out, and I get interrupted. What the hell?
What are you?
Okay, that was also really creepy, but this was a downer for me. I can't make a base. Yet. I don't know the blueprints for the multi-purpose room. I have to find them. God damn it. Because things have been creepy, they come in 3s apparently.
9 new biological subjects designated. Mode. Hunting. Analyzing. Sharing subject locations with other agents.
Okay, well that sounds a little bit terrifying. Does that mean I'm being hunted? Hunting and analyzing. Yeah, that was really weird. I was also about to attempt lifeport number 4's location again, starting at 6, and I actually found another PDA outside the ship this time. The first one I listened to, the crew person had just returned from a swimming session. This PDA reveals that she was out looking for lead, because Matt Passenger was demanding the crew member do something about the situation. It makes me wonder what kind of vessel the Aurora was. Clearly it had passengers as well as crew members. A cruise ship maybe? I was looking for number 4 again, but instead I found a propulsion cannon a few times, as well as another Cyclops fragment. I make use of the beacon for the first time. I was finding really nice stuff in this mushroom forest. I wanted to make sure that I could find it again, so I go ahead and make sure I name this thing appropriately. I completed the Cyclops hull set, but I realized the Cyclops has several different pieces I need to find. The bridge, the engine, etc. And I also managed to scan this alien vent that I found earlier. Why did I miss it before? This is the reason. Okay, was a little bit terrifying. I'm still... Yep, okay, yeah, mate, you can... Wait. I'm back at my pod, and I'm noticing that I have lithium and diamond on me, which means my travels are taking me further out and I'm finding different resources. I had no particular reason, but I decided to make this propulsion cannon as it sounded pretty cool. It warps gravity to push or pull objects towards me. I was on my way out, and I've been noticing the power of my moth getting low. I investigated, and I saw what it needs, a new power cell. So after a few moments, I go ahead and get a new one of that. On this particular outing. I see more of these chunky resource nodes, this one being copper, so I'm pretty keen to dig into these, and I do my best to avoid these shocking looking fellas in the future. I'm repairing my thing, and on this occasion, by accident, I accessed the upgrade section, which really confused me for a moment, but it also made me realize that at some point I'll be able to make upgrades for this little submarine. I might need them as I go ahead and follow the signal for Old Boy Keen's pod, which was that officer turned captain. I see his signal is a lot deeper than I anticipated. In fact, I'm at the crushing depth of 200 meters for my moth, but the destination is a further 160-ish meters further down, which really terrifies me. I had restocked and come back at night, and I was waiting for the sun to rise, and by chance I leaped like a dolphin above the water, and I spied an island in the darkness there. I approach it, not too sure what to expect here. Honestly, even if it's dark, I'd rather be on land than in the water under the cover of darkness. Paige says there's multiple energy signatures on this island. Alrighto, might be more alien stuff actually. However, it's nice to walk on dry land. It feels like I'm playing a survival game on Earth. I made sure to set up a beacon for future return, and in the sunlight I was able to see the structures on this patch of land. However, it is the daytime. I decided to go back in the water and rescue Keenan first. I made sure to leave the moth above the crushing level, so this was pretty daunting for me. Luckily, there was no big fishies down here ready to eat me. I did find a databank for a new oxygen tank upgrade and the abandoned PDA inside. When I interact with it, the signal for the coordinates Keenan had becomes uncorrupted, and I should be able to follow them now. This area is a lot of rock formations, and I see a ship crash over there. I investigate, and I've not actually been here before. I see fragments I've never seen. One which will make me happy much later. It's the prawn suit torpedo fragment, and not this one specifically, but the prawn suit will. Now here I find the vehicle upgrade console, which I'll be able to use to make upgrades to my vessels later. I find something new, a ruby here, followed with something very unique, a time capsule, which I'm gonna have to elaborate on later. Right now, I have to adjust my sound level as I'm about to have a jump scare. Get off. Oh god damn it. Okay. Okay, fair enough. These little fellas annoyed me some, and I saw a gel sack here. I wish I was paying attention to the resources here, but I was distracted, you see. I didn't spend much time here. I buggered off without investigating much further. So, I head back to the island, and I see the Aurora's original rendezvous point was actually this island I found. Very lucky coincidence. It's a weird patch of land. It's floating, and I see why. There's this giant floating thing down below. In fact, it's called an ancient floater. On this dry land, I see this lantern tree, and it almost looks like these fruits might be edible, and when I checked my PDA, they were indeed. It's dark out, my flashlight has 1% power, and I find the structures on this island. I also see what looks like a crop plot, so maybe I can scan all of these to make my own base. I scanned the plants here. That was a marble melon kind of fruit, some Chinese potatoes, but I do need to point this out. Do you see every so often my scanner icon blips briefly on the bottom right? That's the game desperately trying to let me know that whatever you're looking at right now, you can scan. I didn't know this, and I always thought you have to have your scanner out. This is gonna come back to haunt me, but for now, an abandoned PDA. This is not an Aurora Survivor thing. I see it belongs to a Degassi survivor. This is not connected to our ship at all, but 3 people. Old Man Paul, his son Bart, and their cut-price mercenary Maida, who was commissioned for the journey. They are the only ones alive. Maida was sent out to scavenge their shipwreck. The son Bart was responsible for finding them food, which he was quite successful at. And then there's Paul. He whines that Maida is a bit of a hothead. She's finding any excuse to risk their lives, to go out and venture further or something. But Paul wants to stay here and set them up for survival properly, with the one task of staying alive, which is kind of fair. Well, I am not seeing them now. Might as well steal their belongings. I find the next PDA, and this one gets me the achievement to find the Degassi base on the floating island. Okay, I'm glad I found them then. But generally, they are struggling to survive, and all three of them have their own ideas on how they should do that. It seems there's a bit of animosity between these three survivors. Never mind that, I go ahead and steal their flipper designs, and as it's light out, I saw that I could scan this exterior grow bed. I will be needing that, I'm glad I saw it. I also go ahead and steal some plants, with the intention of planting them back home. There's another place on the other side of this island, and I go ahead and trek there. I see a waterhole down there, and it looks like it's the rendezvous point for the Aurora gang. In the other building, I see more fruits, but I also see my scanner icon desperately trying to tell me, hey, you can scan something else here. I find the observatory, thank God, and the indoor grow bed. I find the final PDA here, and it's from Bart's perspective. It turns out the trio left this place at some point, and for whatever reason, they went very deep. It's been months, and Bart is the only one that has returned. Both Maida and Paul have passed on, according to Bart. He's talking about a sickness that is tightening its grip on him, and he feels he will pass soon as well. Perhaps it's the same illness I have. There's another building, and I can scan the bulkhead door. I steal a few more blueprints, and this all leads me to believe that I will need them to build my first base. I believed, incorrectly, that I was done with this place, and I head to the rendezvous location. And there's another PDA. Really, this game is finding a lot of PDAs. But it's a sad story from Officer Keene. The rendezvous was a failure. A data package was sent to the Aurora, and Keene was trying to get there, but he was intercepted by a Leviathan-class predator. Consider him lost at sea. God damn, am I really the only one left? Speaking of Altera headquarters, I have a message from them now. They say they can't send a rescue mission to us. We need to meet them halfway. Black box data indicates the high security terminal in the captain's quarters is still functional. The code is 2679. I have no idea what that all means, but I decide I should probably go to the Aurora next. A laser cutter to cut through metal sounded like it's going to be a good idea to bring along, so I finally head into the direction of the Aurora while jumping out of the water like a magnificent dolphin. The immediate area around the wreck is devoid of all plant life, but there's still a few animals here. You're a little bit far away from home, aren't you, mate? Page sums up the radioactive fallout here and suggests the leak need to be fixed within 24 hours, or this region, it will be devastated with no coming back. Okay, sure, I'll see what I can do. I cautiously make my way to the front of the ship, and I see a way I could get up there. Okay, can I come up here? Okay, yes, I can come up here. Oh my god, that was a stupid thing. Bloody hell, mate. Take care of your moth. Anyways, this platform is in ruins, and there's bloody fires everywhere. I'll be real, I don't have what I needed on me. I actually went back home to get the propulsion cannon and a fire extinguisher as well. And when I returned, I used the propulsion cannon to pick up the debris and clear away. I also had to combat flames to make my way through this space. I have to swim through some tight places, and honestly, I will be finding a lot down here. Some important to this narrative, and others not so much, so I'm going to be leaving bits out. I found a lab access code, which is something I can use in a second. I use my laser cutter now to get through this broken door, which leads me to that lab code door, so this one helped me right away. I continue to explore through this wrecked vessel. Funny enough, I find the black data box right away, but this went over my head. I was more interested in seeing what else there was. A gripe I have with this game. You find all this information in PDAs or terminals, and the information then gets downloaded to your own databank, right? So naturally, I have to take some time to read through all of them. When I'm safe. I'm usually underwater when I find these, and reading them doesn't pause the game world, so you kind of have to leave it until later. Not only that, you are compelled to go back home for food and water reasons, frequently, and those vitals aren't going to stop ticking down simply because you're reading. My point here, a lot of this information this game gives you goes unread, on my behalf anyways, because it's hard to find later, and you don't have time to read it as you find it. Anyways, I'm in the Bay Area. Notice those mechanical suits dangling from the harnesses? I didn't. sadly. However, Paige informs me that the scans to the Aurora have indicated the damage received do not match any known offensive technologies. Well, maybe not to us, but I definitely saw what that big gun did before. That's pretty solid evidence that aliens shot us down. Later I'm in the section that's leaking radioactive material. I find a Cyclops module here, and I believe I need to seal leaky holes here or something. So I do exactly that. While slapping this leech thing silly, I find the spots I need to hold my mouse button down for, and the repairs are underway. Paige says that she can detect 10 more, and now there's 5 more, and finally. There we go, this must be the last one. Okay, so this should fix the radiation maybe? There we go, repair the Aurora reactor, okay. Okay, well, that's done. Now I have my own beef. Right, where are these little bastards? Gonna have to get them. Excuse me, you know, I'm trying to save your lives and you're accosting me. It's safe to say I got a little revenge, and my cruelty is rewarded. I find a depth module for my Seamoth, and this sounds like exactly what I need. I continue to make my way through this place. I use the propulsion cannon when I need to, and I combat the fire with my ever-dwindling supply of my fire extinguisher. I get a little burnt in the process, of course. But I finally see blue skies, and lucky for me, my extinguisher just ran out. Now, I am leaving, but am I done here? No. I wasn't. I'll have to come back later. There is in fact important stuff I missed. Those dangling mechanical suits, for example. But I do see an old acquaintance on my way out. You going that way? Okay. You keep going that way. You keep going that way. No. Yeah, yabba. Is he faster than me? I don't know. I don't want to find out. I need to get home. I think that's the little boy. Yeah, that's the little boy. You're safe, mate. Wow, sounds like he was really enjoying himself. And when I got home, I did a little bit of reading of random things I found in the Aurora, but I believe there's quite a bit I missed. It's some time later, and I see I have a new radio signal from LifePod number 4. Hey, I've been looking for these pricks. They landed quite close to the Aurora. They are floating on the surface, and they have some big fishies bothering them. If they are close to the ship, I know exactly which fishy. I just saw him. New information has been received, and yeah, I should be able to find this one now. I'm locking in and heading out, while jumping like a whale, as this will help me spot this floating pod. Fun fact, I didn't find this pod today, and for about 20 minutes, I achieved absolutely nothing, only to get back to my pod with another signal now about some high-ranking passenger fellas remains in LifePod number 13. As I check that one's data, I get overwhelmed with all this information, and I get frustrated with the game at this point because I haven't really achieved much since I crashed here. Luckily, I have coordinates I can follow, but again, I spent time looking for number 4. I get a lovely view from the back of this creature thing, only to get thrown off by another distress signal from LifePod number 12 this time. The information provided is that it's quite deep, and right now I rage quitted the game as I felt like I was getting nowhere. So after quite a bit of time, I do find pod number 4. It was floating, sure, but upside down, so it was actually hard to spot from both above and below the waterline. Inside is a blueprint for a creature decoy, which becomes helpful later, and unlucky for me, I didn't see the PDA that was face down. Oh well. I know about this guy's story after playing the game. I felt bad for the fella. Moving on, I saw number 12 was 250 meters down, and I wasn't going to be able to get that. I could actually, I just forgot about that depth module I found. So I traveled 1700 meters west to go get number 13 with that coffin or something. I approach a mushroom forest location, same as I've seen before, so this place is generally safe, I think. Yeah, only these ghosty boys I can see. Outside the pod, I find another modification fragment, and this will be an important piece of equipment. I slink on through the top of this pod, see the PDA, but no coffin. The fellow who recorded this thing, it sounded like he was a very religious fella, and he was having a bit of a pray before his demise. No idea what faith he followed though. Now that is his story. This is mine. I'm here now. I need one more modification fragment, and I wanted to stay in this area until I found it. I scoured the seabed for a good long while, coming up empty-handed, but I had a stroke of luck. I saw the shadow of a predator on the seafloor, and it compelled me to look upwards. And when I do, I see a huge chunk of the aurora I've not been seeing up there. And finally,
Yes, got it. Oh, that's good news.
New blueprint acquired.
okay, that was a good find, and so is the next one, the battery charger. I have been depleting mine and storing them, so I really wanted this. Lucky for me, right next to that one was the second half that I needed, so that is all done and dusted. I have another eureka moment shortly later. I accidentally see I can put modules in my Seamoth. Again, I've done this again. So I'm punching myself, of course, because I found this depth module a little while back. I can go 300 meters down now. It's more than enough to get to that lifeboat number 12. Now about the modification station and the battery charger. I don't think I can actually make these in my pod. I need that multi-purpose room that's been eluding me. Funny enough, I walked into them before, I just missed it. I'm approaching lifepod number 12. I saved my game because I was scared. For good reason. There were these sharky boys and these zappy boys. I have no idea if the latter are aggressive. I mean, all I can do is ask. Are you aggressive?
Yes, you are.
Well, there's no harm in asking, right? I see a bit of volcanic activity here, and lots of aggressive fish, so I was starting to get jumpy. Page lets me know that there's volcanic activity, obviously, and several unusual electromagnetic signatures in this region. I missed all of that because, as you can see, I'm not in a safe area. I take a risk. I was about to jump into number 12. Saw an electric eel and I got daring. Can you actually hurt me? And from this small clip, nope, he can't. Okay. Oh yeah, nah, he can, and I can see he does big damage. So quick as a flash, I dive in, grab the first thing I see, and I reboard my moth and I leg it out of there. I'm on 48% moth durability. It should be fine, but there is lots of volcanoes around here, which is appreciated, I guess. Let's get somewhere safe. Yeah, I can see you. You're aggressive. Yes, you are. Okay. Okay, so we're at 20%. 20%. Let's get to the safe place. God damn it. Oh! Jesus! Oh, it tried! It broke. Did something get me? You son of a gun! Okay. I have learnt my lesson. Don't ever let my vehicle go down beneath 50%. Costly lesson. I lost my depth module as well as the moth. I can make a moth, but that depth module hurt me deep. This recording was about some fake doctor who cheated his medical exams. He is now on an alien planet, unable to treat his apparent disease. Maybe it's the same thing I have, and he whines that he might actually die down there. Well, I think you did, mate. I nearly did. Life pod number 7. Jeez, there is a lot of these. A fella has an intact pod, but his fabricator is bust. Send help. That is okay, old man number 7. I have made a second moth, and I'm on my way. Luckily, it's only 200 meters down, so that's this guy's maximum depth. I'm nowhere near that level, and I'm just trying to get to my destination. Oh my god, okay. Am I okay, let's save this game, because I'm pretty sure I'm about to lose another sea moth. Now from here, let's have a look at the thing. Okay. I sneak on by, and I find the pod I'm looking for. I guess this is a low ecological activity section. Yep, there it goes. There it is. Alright, pal. What are you doing here? What are you doing here, friend? Do I need to fight you hand to hand? I think I do. I thought I had an opening, get myself bitten, got in the pod, found this Markiplier doll, and I find the PDA of number 7, followed with quickly getting out of dodge.
And we're gone. Yeah, get out of my face. Yeah, get out of my face, mate.
Okay, I don't know if I had to find anything else there, but I had to use my goddamn sea moth as a bloody... Okay, I need something that can help me against these guys. This is not gonna work. This is not gonna work if I'm pulling this kind of crap. Yeah, you're right. You should be using some kind of gun or something. Fun fact though, I kept pulling this crap the entire playthrough. Okay. How long have I been playing, by the way? You know, I've been playing this game now for probably close to 10 hours on this session, but I'm really starting to wonder, when do you find the things you find to be able to build a base? Because once you're able to build a base, I think it starts to get into a routine that I understand, which is base building survival games. This very classic survival adventure is not really my cup of tea. I can enjoy it for what it is, but I can say that it gets a bit tedious for me. I'd rather be able to build a base, and that's what I enjoy. Yeah, I'm still yet to find that base building thing. Now, Allmate in pod number 7. He was trying to make something useful with his fabricator, which was bust, remember? And he was hitting every single button. It's safe to say he ended himself. Goodness me, a lot of these survivors are the reasons for their own demise. So off camera, I did some thinking. I was playing for a while and no more radio transmissions were coming in. Nothing new. I must have missed something, and the only place I found habitable type places was on this island. Okay, yes, here we go. The multi-purpose room is right here. I bloody knew it. I absolutely knew it, so I missed it.
New blueprint acquired.
Does that mean I just got it? Oh, you're absolutely joking me. Yes, it means I just got it. And with this find, every single other building block becomes available to me. I've been able to make a new... Oh, look at all this stuff that's coming in right now. Unbelievable. You're joking me. Yeah, no, so I missed wall planter. Okay, we'll get a wall planter as well. To be fair, this game has me on high adrenaline all the time, so I am missing stuff. Not just this location, by the way. Now, about those transmissions, again. They have stopped, meaning they're done. They will no longer be coming in from what I can see. But what the hell is next then? I don't actually care. I can finally make a base. I've been wanting to do this for ages. Honestly, this is what I expect in a survival game. My personal taste in the survival game genre is base building. The first 10 plus hours of this game I will label as classic survival. You find things to help you survive, focus on your vitals and the ambience of the game. The fear is what really pushes that subgenre of survival. You don't have a base, you don't have much personal things, but with the base building survival, the dynamic changes. The world becomes less threatening because I become a bigger thing in this game. I'm no longer at the mercy of the game world, and I have made my own safe haven where I can hoard and store vast amounts of resources. Listen to my excitement just because I have power.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Yay! Yay! I have a base, Kylie. I have a base.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels good. Oh, it feels very good. I've been wanting a base for a god-awful long time. I make my first storage chest things in this space, and it is quite exhilarating. How much storage is in this thing? Oh my god. Okay. I make a radio inside, as well as a fabricator, and I make my first home-cooked meal. I then discover I can't get rid of these little floating storages. So you know what I did? I dumped them behind here. They fit inside each other, so in these 3 are all the other ones. I had no further use for them. Look at the amount of storage things I have on my walls. I make a medic thing over here, and it's always fabricating a new medic pack when I grab the current one out. I make a new wall for a battery charging bay with a nearby chest for all those things. It's a good feeling to start recharging these batteries after so much time, but I need to be careful. Charging batteries takes the power out of my base. It's currently being charged by one solar panel, and it's currently nighttime. I have no power, so when the morning comes, I have to make an additional one. The max cap of power I can now store is 150. Now, although I have those grav traps outside a stone's throw away, I still saw that as too much effort and wondered if I could breed my own fish in a tank so I have a ready supply in my home. Fun fact, this is not how that small aquarium works. I need something else for what I want to do, but it is nice to have some company, I guess. I make the modification station next, and I can make a few good things in here. Modules for vehicles, new swimming gear and a knife, and another gun thing. I make the bigger oxygen tank now, 225 seconds worth of O2, which is about 3.5 minutes give or take, but with the rebreather it should be longer. I'm also going to be faster now with some new flippers. Plus, here's the oh moment. I realize I probably need the alien containment thing if I wanted to breed my own fish. Now, some of the modules and stuff here take magnetite. No idea what the hell that is. So as I can't breed fish for my consumption, I shall turn to good old farming. I actually read my PDA this time to see which plants I should go and fetch on that island. I grabbed some bulbo plants. I had to slice the tree to get the seeds, mind you. That is something very important. Slice. This lantern fruit tree wouldn't let me cut it, so I picked these, which was fine in this case, but here, the marble melon, I picked it up, meaning I picked this fruit. I needed to cut this one for its seeds, and I won't figure this out for a very long time. And luckily, I just had to pick the Chinese potato. By the way, mind that step now, it's a doozy.
Don't fall in the water, for f***'s sake.
Back home, I start to plant these seeds and notice they are already decaying, so better be quick about this. I slapped this watermelon fruit, not a seed, into this growing bed. The Chinese potatoes here and the lantern fruit trees here. I'm pretty keen to see how it all looks. Also, here's a banger. Wait, did I just read that right? Did I just read this thing right? Cooks and sterilizes small organisms for immediate consumption. Oh my goodness gracious me. Okay, I gotta go test this out. So I go ahead and test that out. I slap this fish silly, which cooks him instantly, and I enjoy a meal 5 seconds later. Absolute beauty, mate. My plants are already growing by this point, but I noticed the watermelon thing is not yet. Okay, well maybe I give it more time? Maybe it needs a smaller pot. Anyways, I need to expand my storage, and I've noticed that these stalker fellas have a particular inclination to chomping on metal salvage from the Aurora, so while All Boy is playing fetch over there, I go ahead and steal these other ones. I use the titanium I get from breaking them down to build my own storage, and the first one is dedicated to that resource. Pretty soon, I have labeled storage for everything. All my plants have grown at this point, and it's looking good. I checked them all. I wanted to see which one was best. So far as I can see, I like the bulbo seeds. They give 8 food and 10 water, which sounded fine. Water was more intensive in this game. Now, I've got 2 gripes. That was 1 piece of food, and it took up 4 spaces of inventory. It also spoils really quickly, so in future I can't rely on taking these food sources on my person. I found that a little bit disappointing. All it's currently done is made a reliable food and water source at home. I no longer have to hunt, sure, but it's still for home consumption. I can't take this with me without it spoiling. I can take water, sure. I look at the recipe for bleach. I have salt and I get some coral tubes from slicing up this random thing. And with a fabricated bottle of bleach, I can make 2 bottles of disinfected water. The other bottles give me 20 hydration, and these give me 30, so that is actually a huge positive for me. About those stalkers gnawing on metal salvage, that would have a negative impact on their teeth, right? Yes it does. I find a stalker tooth right over here, and I needed that for making glass for some reason, which in turn I used to make this giant moon pool room. I didn't notice there, but I got a warning that my base hull has weakened with this additional thing. I dock my moth, and I realize the entire place is flooding. Okay, that's not good. Ah, crap. I realized at this point I needed to make some bulkheads to keep my base's structural strength high, or else it crushes. I took the moon pool down, fixed the entire place, and slapped a few of these reinforced doors and a few key doorways. And all good now, it's not flooding anymore. I make the upgrade station, which I put onto the side of the moon pool, and from here I can change the appearance and the name of my moth. Here I can also make the upgrades to the vehicles, namely the moth and the prawn suit, which I'm gonna find later. That farter outside tried to suggest the name for me, but I didn't understand him. What do I name this thing? As he was providing more names, I changed the color schemes for my moth. I made it darker colors, so hard to see for me, but probably not for the native fauna. The text is tiny there, but I dubbed her the Stealthinator. The machine says that she's docked, which is perfect, but it also says she's fully charged, which made me realize this thing also charges my vehicles while they're in here, which is really good news for me. I don't have to keep making those power cells. That is appreciated. I can focus on the other stuff like, what the hell is aerogel? Again, magnetite as well. No idea about that. A polyaniline? What even is that? So okay, a lot of resources I'm yet to come across, and I'm off to go find some right now. When I return, I slapped a Mark 1 depth module and a storage one into the Stealthinator to help me along my way. The extra compartment is in the back of the moth, so it might prove tricky to open in tense situations. Now, I endeavored to do something. I know I've been missing things at this point. The ocean, open, dark ocean. It tends to make me rush, not think clearly, and get out of uncomfortable situations rather quickly. So I thought about revisiting each transmission location one at a time and retracing my steps, because fun fact, those radio transmissions, they've stopped well before I've built this base. I have missed something, but I didn't know what it was. Do you remember when I said something about missing key information in that alien facility? Yeah, I needed to read something in my PDA, and I have no idea when I figured that out. But I wanted technology fragments, and visiting all the wrecks sounded like a good way to go about it. Remember this cave I didn't explore before? I can dive 300 meters down now. We're fine. I see a structure here and what looks like an anaconda snake thing over there. When I float around this particular spot, I could hear music playing. No idea what music it was, but it sounded soothing. There are plenty of giant nuggets down here with nowhere for me to mine them. It's fine, it's only gold. I find the diamonds in these shale outcrops, and here's how the ambient sounds in this place, by the way. Back to the exploring, and I see something worthwhile over here. When I steal the PDA, I see it's another Degassi base, those people on the island whose fruits I've absconded with. Looks like those same three have come down here for whatever reason. Paul the dad is giving Bart a lesson that there is a pecking order in life, and money makes the hierarchy. He's the top dog. Son is the middle dog, and the bodyguard or something is living on scraps. That's Maida, by the way. But she makes all the decisions, Bart points out, which is fine for now, says Paul. They need to keep her happy. I imagine Maida knows how to survive and is better suited to their current situation. I find a water filtration system inside, which I can scan, and this sounds huge. I continued picking up their diaries, and one of them gives me another achievement, to find them down in this section. I get the impression I'll have to find these guys in different areas of the ocean to complete 100% of this game. At base, I looked how I can make my new toy. I need the aerogel thing. The hell is that? Not seen it yet, but I want it. I can use this thing to turn seawater into drinkable water and salt, which sounds like my hydration problem sorted, and not yet it seems. I looked at my entire crafting section and no information on how to make this aerogel. There is a lot I don't know yet, but I go ahead and gather what I can. This is a nice haul of stuff. Funny enough, I scanned this scanning room here. I have this, and it reminded me I haven't made this for myself. I'm heading back to a beacon called Again? It's where I lost Moth number 1 at the hands of these zappy boys. I know there's stuff I missed there, I just needed to deal with my fears. There was a network of caves close by and I decided to explore in here. It was relatively safe. More shell outcrops that had lithium, diamonds, but I had to be careful. This place was a small network and it's easy to get lost. Outside I followed a cliff face. I could hear a Reaper Leviathan, but I pushed on because I was bound to find something. Oh, is that what I think it is? It is what I think it is. Yes. It is what I think it is. Finally. I've been looking for this one for a very, very long time.
New blueprint acquired.
And 5 seconds after my discovery. There you are. Okay, you know what? I'm going to head home. I just got the Cyclops fragments. Let's go make ourselves a Cyclops. Let's not ruin a good find today. I just had a huge win with that final Cyclops fragment I've been looking for. I had to find several sections to make the whole thing, and now I will finally be able to make one. And right now, in-game me said it's about 15 hours into my playthrough at this point. I already had the resources for this thing, but was prompted to try and build it elsewhere as it was not deep enough here. So a few seconds later.
Be advised, the Cyclops is designed to be operated by a 3-person crew. Only experienced helmspeople should attempt to pilot this vehicle solo.
Oh dear. Okay, that's pretty huge. Did it say something about 3 people have to pilot this thing? Yeah, it did say something like that, but never mind. I had to go have a look-see, didn't I? I bought this majestic thing.
Welcome aboard, Captain. All systems online.
I played with the door for a few moments before realizing this thing had built-in storage, which is a huge bonus. What's even better is that I'm capable of building things in here as well, so a realization starts to creep into my head. I'm at the helm. This all looks very techy. A middle section, which then leads into a bigger middle section where I can dock my stealth in there and the future prawn suit. This is a mobile moon pool, so to speak. I see a decoy launcher, and I recalled finding a decoy missile fragment way back when, and at the back of this engine room, the Cyclops has its own fabricator, where I can make upgrades for it, but most of the modules are unknown to me. That thought I had before. Can I make this into a mobile base, like make a farm on board and always have food and water here? Then I can take this thing out much further than I've ever gone, because I'll finally have self-sustainability on a mobile vehicle. I took the first name that came to mind. I didn't want to think because someone was making a racket. Let's call this ship the Chop. I'm not going to change any colors on this fella. I don't feel like I need to be stealthy or anything like that. You're the bastard. Yeah, shut up. As the rude fella bellows out into the night, I see I have a 3D diagram of Chop here and a health bar. This is important information. I had just boarded this awe-inspiring vessel, and I couldn't believe that this thing is in danger from anything on this planet. It's a giant metal fabricated ship, for goodness sake. I am invincible. Also, don't mind me, I'm familiarizing myself with the light switches. A quick rundown. On the right, you see Chop has a built-in sonar thing and can detect immediate threats. I turn Chop on here. That's his current health and how much noise he's making, how deep he can go, and current depth, plus how much energy supply he has left. There are 3 levels of speed: slow, regular, or get the hell out of there but making a lot of noise. I can slap my horn to announce to the entire planet a new thing is at the top of the food chain once he learns how to pilot this vessel. A quick check, and Chop runs on 6 power cells at a time, so plenty of juice, don't even need to worry, mate. Now, I saved my game because I've always wanted to do something. I saved it because I wasn't sure and I wanted to be safe. Before I headed there, I did confirm for myself that Chop is too much of a pork chop to fit in this moon pool, so I can't charge him here using my base. So, about that next goal. Oh. There he is. Yep, I decided to go piss off old mate. Am I pretty safe from you in this vehicle? Do you not have the audacity to attack this giant chunk of metal? You filthy, slimy, mangy character. Jesus, don't taunt it. You're making it much worse. See, he's no longer yellow. He's red. I should say, yep, he's coming up. Hey, buddy. Oh, you're attacking me, are you? Yeah, he does attack you, which means he can damage this awe-inspiring vessel. Okay, yeah, no, you do attack me, do you?
Warning, external hull damage detected.
Thank you, Chop. Even he says hull damage. It does mean this fella can destroy this invincible vessel. And yeah, also, this is a good example of me making excessive noise. This adventure goes about as well as you expect. Crap. Oh yeah, Chop is as good as a goner. So you can't fix this?
Hull integrity critical.
You son of a gun. Goodness me. Yeah, so anyways, Chop is sinking, my guy is coughing up his lungs, and I have been humbled. I have been told to sit down by a giant worm. Alright, let's quit that. Goodness me. So, the Reaper Leviathan can actually destroy your thing. I was not aware of that. I thought you were invincible in the Cyclops. Goodness me. Okay. I had to eat some concrete and come back to reality after that blunder. I had to say to myself, I'm not at the top of the food chain here. Fun fact, I never will be. This is actually a stealth survival game. For the next 30 minutes, I spent some time working on Chop. I started making these creature decoy missiles. I see I can launch them from the helm and only one can be stored, which sounds kind of horrible, but I think I saw an upgrade for that. I quickly go and do the same thing. It saved my game and went to piss off Oldmate with the intent of using the creature decoy missile to see how it works. I wasn't too sure how to shoot it, no idea, and he was trying to say hello to me. I stayed stationary during this time, clicking my mouse frantically trying to shoot this decoy, and nothing happened. This was actually a lucky break with unintended consequences. Mr. Toothy there lost interest in me, probably because I tasted terrible and there was seemingly no reaction from me. I wasn't trying to bolt in the opposite direction like some flailing dolphin or making excessive noise. This was very useful information for me. So how about I stealthily sneak away, slowly move myself out of range. I also realized I needed to click here to launch the decoy. You can see that it's this yellow thing above me on the radar. A main thing I learned from this attempt, I can try and sneak by the big fellas or play dead and hope they lose interest. So later, below me are rocks. The HUD lets me know if I'm getting too close, so that's nice. Here's what happened on another test round. Are you stuck on me, are you? You're stuck on me, aren't you? Oh, for goodness sake. Did you get trapped, did you? Oh, that's not great, is it? Later still, I successfully tested the creature decoy. I let him chase me and pop it off, he buggers off in that direction and I'm free to go home. And while I'm there, I see this button called Silent Running. It makes the entire ship go red and I imagine it makes me run silently. Sadly, I didn't test this one, so I didn't know. There's also external camera functions in here, and again I didn't test this properly. Instead, I take some time to put some necessary machines on Chop, like a fabricator among other things. I plant some Chinese potatoes in here, and I make sure to take breaks of course. Hey buddy, can I knock you out? This is the propulsion gun. My first attempt at using it actually. Yes, I can. Okay, that's actually pretty powerful. Check this out. So let's say old boy gets to me. It's like, hey buddy. It's like, oi. Nice. That is nice. Right, now, I can't actually recall using it again after this. Anyway, so for a very long time now, I have had radio silence. No new transmissions or any cookie trails I could follow. Nada. I mentioned that while I was in the alien gun place before, I wasn't paying attention to important critical information. Yes, so this is true. The narrative, the plot of this playthrough had ground to a complete halt since that time, and I've only been exploring since then. Chop is ready to go. I also have bulbo plants in here, so I have a good food and water source for future expeditions. And here's the setup I have in here. So the question, the big question, where the hell am I going? Something alien, I bet. I remembered I had stolen ion cubes, and for some reason I made a purple tablet. Maybe this will prompt something. That in fact did not prompt something, but I see I'm finally kind of looking in the right place. I was looking at my PDA stuff and looked at some Aurora information and remembered there might be some stuff back there. So back to the Aurora I went. I cleared a path and entered what was the living quarters. I find a bunch of these nutrient blocks, which is a good food source, and it doesn't spoil. I'm annoyed that I'm not able to make something like this for my own long journeys. There's lots of furniture blueprints in here, but most important from this visit, I finally see the prawn suit fragments. Once I get the one on the ground, I see all the other ones hanging above me, and in no time I have this important third vehicle type that is required for this game. Yeah, too bad I don't know about aerogel yet. There was a bunch of random things I found on the Aurora. This one is important. The last recorded transmission from Altera, who is the company who owned this vessel or something. I was able to get the Neptune escape rocket blueprint. So the final thing I need to make so that I can escape from this planet, it's going to need one hell of a power source, and that just reminded me about those green ion cubes. I recalled they were very powerful batteries, but how to use them as such is beyond me. What is within my grasp is the prawn suit. This fella here has written a message to this other fella saying that he needs to try out this suit, that you're able to crush asteroids with your prawn hands. Now this sounds like it's the thing I need to mine those giant resources I've been seeing. I needed aerogel, and that's a resource that kept stopping me. So I looked at my scanner room. Maybe I can see it within this thing. I go ahead and materialize this building into creation. To be frank with you, this is my first base, and later on I make a much better second base when I get my head around some things. In that second base, I was smart enough to utilize the scanning room to its full potential. Right now I wasn't really grasping it, not the full function anyways, but it's nice to see the thing comes with little cameras. Look, I wasn't entirely dumb. I see this thing can scan sandstone outcrops for me, and the room took its sweet time scanning for that resource, and I saw one thing pop up which didn't get me excited. I also made the bioreactor, and just like the scanner room, I didn't play enough with it until my second base, so moving on. I decided to head back to the alien gun and reinvestigate that place. Please note my chop is on 63% power at this time. So finally, I'm so glad I get to add this in my script now. My past self looked at the codes and clues section, and I saw that there were two more alien facilities on this planet. One is a disease research facility that's 800 meters deep and was designed for life specimen study. The objective was to find the antidote for the highly infectious bacterium named Kara. Then there is a thermal power facility 1200 meters down somewhere, and its function is to power all the other stations. I'm back at the alien gun, and the research facility is the only one that gives me any kind of instructions. It's in a cave system southwest of the enforcement platform and 800 meters down. A new problem. Chop can only dive 500 meters. I'm physically incapable of going there. So although I whinged for the longest time that I didn't know what my next goal was, that didn't really matter, because here it is and I can't even attempt it. I need to go back to exploring and looking for blueprints so that I can make the Cyclops depth module 1. How big is this ocean, people? Where should I start looking? How about I try and see maybe the entrance of that cave system that I'm looking for? Yeah, sure, it's 800 meters down, but 500 meters should allow me to maybe identify the location that I will need to go in the future. I run into a section that has a lot of floating chunks of rock with a piece of the Aurora. Exploring in Chop is hard sometimes. Taking the stealth in there is just easier, but it also makes me significantly more vulnerable. However, I need to look for wrecks like this because I'm certain that what I'm looking for will be in these places. This is a prawn suit drill arm, so I know I'm definitely going to need this. But what I really need is the depth modules, probably for Chop and the Stealthinator, to be honest. I find a power cell charger fragment, and this is a huge find. I need one more though, and fun fact, this is gonna become a headache for me shortly. So I go about my business, looking for something. It was hard to see wrecks from inside the Chop like this. For some reason, I thought that using the external cameras made the Chop stop, but I'll soon discover I can explore while checking my surroundings with those cameras. Until then, I often got lost. Now, currently after playing this game, doesn't actually remember getting this prompt.
Detecting multiple Leviathan class life forms in the region. Are you certain whatever you're doing is worth it?
Nope, it's not. Okay, I certainly have gone too far then, have I? Later, I'm parked wherever this is, and for some reason, I left my Chop on silent running mode. If you noticed, my ship had 29% juice left, and I left and I did my usual unsuccessful searches for something. It may have been 10 minutes, not sure, and I came back to a completely dead Chop in the water. Yep, it's completely off. Damn it. Okay. Alright, I've run out of power. I definitely need to find these power cell regenerator things. Yeah, it's completely down now. Alright. I guess I could make new power cells, but then I'm just making new ones. I did just find one of those fragments I needed to recharge them, so I decided to just go look for the next one in my moth and leave Chop here. I wasted some time, I'll be real. Then I looked up the general area of where I should be looking for these, and that search led me back to Captain Keen's pod. After a really long time, I found what I needed. I stopped back at Chop and grabbed all these dead power cells with the intent of charging them back home. That was actually an ordeal for me. A quick for you, sure, but that was about 40-ish minutes of fluffing around for me, which I completely cut out of this video. However, in that time, somewhere, probably near Captain Keen's area, I must have touched a gel sack, because in my fabricator, I see I can now make the aerogel with that and ruby, which is damn good news. However, in-game me didn't know where to find rubies and gel sacks. Gonna worry about that later. Chop is in desperate need of a pick-me-up. I slapped this power cell charger on the battery wall. I assumed this would drain my power. I see I have 150 out of 650, though it always capped at 150 and past me wasn't entirely sure why. The empty bioreactor was the reason why. Anyways, I'm charging these cells and I'm sure it'll take away all of my power, so I wanted to slap more solar panels on my roof. I was going to get resources, and when I got back, those two power cells had already drained everything. So I slapped a few more of these on my roof, and I waited for the sunrise. That is actually quite a spectacle, isn't it? This moon or planet going across. There's another one up there. So no, that thing's been there for how many days now and it's still on fire? I'm surprised it hasn't sunk yet. Well, I have unsunk my power problem. Before it was draining my power, my base is now charging even whilst these power cells was getting juiced up. I have 6 of them, 6, but realistically, I should have backups in case this ever happens again. So I checked what I needed and I spent some time making spares, and it begins with batteries. Eventually, I have 12 power cells and a fair few spare batteries. I didn't want to be left up a creek without a paddle again in the future. I had a look generally where I can find what I'm looking for. I needed to find a data box for the depth modules. It comes in a single thing, so no need to look for fragments. However, I avoided checking the exact locations. I wanted to give this a good go myself, trying to find it. As I loaded up Chop, I realized he was using one battery at a time. So if I have backups, which I do, I should change them as I go, instead of running down to 0. It is such a relief getting Chop back up and running, but there was a negative from this. A huge one. This happened because I left him on silent running mode. For past me, this convinced him not to ever use silent running mode again, as it drained all the power. For veteran players, you're probably face palming right now because this is going to make things very interesting for me. Anyways, I'm now looking for one of these things. They are in wrecks and such, like this one. Oi, do you mind? Ah, nah, he doesn't mind, eh? Here's something nice. I see the scanner room can find wrecks for me, and I say, do that please. The range on this thing is only 300 meters, so maybe it's going to take a bit. I see there are a few scanner room upgrades, so maybe I should be upgrading this thing. There's one for range, speed, and one for the HUD, so that data streams from the scanning facility and straight to my HUD. That last one is huge. I have no magnetite, so I can only upgrade the speed of this thing, which is useless to me, but I do it anyways. I use my little drone to go to that distant wreck, but I stop halfway and get annoyed because if I had this HUD thing, it would be so much better. I need high-end resources and they're deeper down. I knew, obviously, the deeper I go, the rarer the resources and such. The Stealthinator's second depth module is here in the bigger fabrication thing, and it needs those magnetite. Goodness me, this is my bottleneck resource at this moment. I wanted to do an experiment. I wanted to make a new scanner room some distance away from my other one to see what I can find. There's a heat source here, and ruby was something I needed. I assumed volcanic areas are home to rubies, and I wanted to see if I can scan it. This was a good idea, but there was a few key items of information I was missing. I can look for a heat source, which I already found, and I used this drone to try and search into this little geyser. I found no rubies down here, just the heat source and a whole group of these roasted eyeballs. This was a failed experiment. However, I'm not using this thing properly. I know this, but past me didn't. Okay, one failed experiment down, and I looked up where I could find rubies. I have seen them before. I just never saw them when I was there. They're near lifeboat number 19, Officer Keen's, which is where I found my last power cell charger fragment. Speaking of which, that's another one. So in these crevices, where I get accosted by these little bloodsuckers a while ago, I will find rubies. That and also gel sacks. This must be where I got one before without knowing it. I'm picking these up for now as well, actually. And after a short time, I see the ruby I need. They're attached straight to the caves and not in those outcrops. So I spent some time getting these two resources I needed for the aerogel. I see here that I attacked this gel sack on this occasion and I got seeds from it. This makes me realize I could potentially plant these. I come to this area. It's very dark, and I thought there was rubies down there. I mustered the courage to go get this thing. Turns out it's blood oil, and I don't know what this is. And as I didn't know, this place being very dark, I decided to leave because the deep dark depths is an instant no for me. Here's the moment my courage leaves me. Yeah. That's creepy. Where's thingy? Yet nothing is attacking me. It's just the ambience, darkness, and deep water which really compels me to leave. I'm leaving and I see another alien vent in this area. Okay, interesting. So, looking up the location for rubies was very successful. I felt like I was getting somewhere, so I may have looked up something else. I located this tube coral thing sticking up out of the water. I followed a fella's YouTube guide. I can't remember which one. Past me gave no details in my recording as I was doing it. I find some blue balls and a wreck down here, and among this wreck is a data box, and within this elusive box, I find the Cyclops depth module. Luckily this unlocks all of them. I just have to get the resources for them now. In the darkness, I also spot this prawn suit drill arm fragment, and luckily this is the last one I needed. What's funny is I cross my new scanner room, which is quite close by. I am so close to finding things, but exploration in the deep depths is just something I really struggle to cope with. It's only going to get worse with this Mark 1 depth module for Chop. The deep dark depths is exactly where I'll be going. With gel sacks and ruby, I finally make that aerogel, which is one of many resources for my first ever prawn suit. Let's do it.
It is normal when first piloting a prawn suit to feel a sense of limitless power. Prawn operators receive weeks of training to counteract this phenomenon. You will have to make do with self-discipline.
Oh gee, that thing sunk like a rock. Okay. Get off, mate. For goodness sake. I also see what page means. This is in fact the first thing I do when I enter my prawn. Yeah, I am a bully, I can tell you that. The prawn suit is an awkward landwalker. It also has a limited jetpack use, so really, you'll be spending a lot of time on the seabed, which is exactly where I need to be. I finally docked this fella in the moon pool, which proved to be a little awkward, and this fella has a big compartment for storage. I'll be filling said storage with my new drill arm. He does have 2 arms, doesn't he? But I kept one free so that if I need to beat the wildlife silly, I can do that with my free hand. I needed to get back to pod number 17 and that giant cave, the one where I found that Degassi base. There's a resource I'm looking for there, but this prawn suit is so slow and awkward. Luckily I can, with much trial and error, slam this guy into the chop. I'm glad I did because I was going in the wrong direction with Prawny before. I just hope I can get him back up here as I jump into this deep cave. It's not my first worry. I get into an argument almost instantly with the local wildlife, which resulted into hand-to-hand combat. But finally, I try this arm out on one of these giant ore nodes, a gold in this case, and I slowly break this thing apart and lots of gold get vacuumed into the prawn's inventory. This cave has got one of the worst ambiences in this game, that's for sure. I drill lithium. I harvest magnetite, which is that ore that has been really bugging me, and it was just in this cave 233 meters down. This is nothing. I can see the prawn can go 900 meters down, which is a lot more than my other vehicles actually. I make sure to shift everything from Prawny to me so that I can get 2 rounds of drilling done, and I can also get out of this cave system. I just had to jump up on these wall ledges to make my way out of here, and I came down here several times. So I have some things I need to make before attempting that first disease place, which was 800 meters down. You can see a few things pinned on the right, and they're primarily the depth modules for the chop and the stealthinator, and also a water filtration system just because. I make the last one first, and I see it immediately breaks my base apart. When it's all set up properly, I see that I have to wait for this thing to do something. I thought I had to slap a bladderfish in there, but nah, I can see that it's working towards water and salt right now. I'm going to wait. So I go ahead and make all the depth modules up until Mark 3 for the stealthinator. I can now go 900 meters in the Moth. I got an inclination that with those facilities, the first one being 800 meters down and the next one being 1200, I guess that for the first one I'll be using Chop and the Moth, and then Chop and the Prawn later on. This just confirmed it because I just saw that the Moth can't even get to 1200 meters with all the depth modules that it could possibly get. Chop can also dive 900 meters now, so a combination of Chop and the stealthinator will be utilized for my first adventure. I need nickel for the next depth modules, so yeah, no idea where that is. I make a module for the decoys, and I can now load and store 5 at a time, so this should help in those oh no moments. There is still upgrades for the sonar or defense for Chop, and I've got no idea about those. However, I have what I need. Let's go look for a facility. At least I will have a drink of water that sates 50 points of hydration. It is nice, but maybe if I have several of these filtrators, it would make it worthwhile. I'm heading back to the enforcement platform, and I realize at this time I can move while checking all my cameras. This makes it so damn easy to observe my surroundings, which is good news for me. I do have to find a giant facility. It doesn't help if I've been going in the wrong direction though. Have I been going in the wrong direction? I have been going in the wrong... Later at the correct patch of land. What the hell is that thing? Yeah, it literally just teleported into being. And I also made a mistake. I went around the wrong side of this island. I have to pass a Reaper Leviathan below me. Luckily, he doesn't notice me. I noticed the teleporter though. God, what is that thing? I have got bigger worries. I now have to find this research facility southwest from this platform and in a cave system. So from here I go southwest. It's dark, of course, and I can't see anything. 228 meters down, and I'm surrounded by floating rocks. It makes it hard to navigate. I hit a giant mountain range. I can't go through it, so I dive. I'm nearly 500 meters deep. Where the hell am I? I try to go southwest, but I keep running into this huge mountain. Maybe the cave entrance is here. This is my first attempt at getting to this facility. So what are my thoughts? I'm so bloody lost at the moment. I can tell you that much. I have no idea where I am. I had to muster the courage to explore with the Stealthinator. I surmised I was hitting a very tall mountainous barrier, and the depth here was only 450 meters or so, not where I wanted to be. I didn't see any cave entrances here either, so I tried again and headed southwest. I passed over this mountain range and I tried to explore. Why do I feel like I'm missing the place? It's because you are missing the place. It's hard to find. I just kept going and I found something else. Okay, wait, there's a Reaper there. He's coming. That guy's huge. He's bigger than anything else I've ever seen. This is not good. This is not good at all. Oh my god. Yeah, no, he's completely turned me around. I don't know where I'm going now. Just as I say that, the Reaper clocks out, like his pure intention was just to throw me off path. However, he made sure to snap at my bum, to solidify my fear of this encounter. Funny enough, he wasn't doing damage. It must have glitched or something, so I was very lucky. A second attempt, I got away. Physically, I was fine. Psychologically, that was another plunge deeper into fear of this ocean. I decided to start using beacons to help me lay out the landscape. I quickly explored this attack gun island again. There's a cave with water in it. Lucky I did, there was another purple tablet in here for some reason, and I started attempt number 3. A long story short, I collided with that mountain wall again, and I got nowhere. This is how that attempt ended. Come on, up.
Captain, all systems online.
Okay, that's terrifying. Okay. Bastards. Off camera, I researched and saw that I could fabricate a sonar module for my moth at this point, and this might actually help. I've put a beacon at the entrance of this jelly cave so that I can easily find my way out again with my prawn suit. So I got what I needed, got into some arguments with the native fauna, and then made sure that my current prawn suit becomes a part of the natural terrain. Are you joking me right now? I actually got it stuck, didn't I? Yep, I've wedged myself in here. Seriously? I can see a lot of clearance there. Don't piss me off like that.
Captain.
Yep, not my first prawn is a goner. Stuck. I tried the unstuck option in the menu, but yeah, my prawn is stuck. It teleported me, but just me out of that area. Bugger. Ah well, all in the name of getting the Seamoth sonar module. This is how it works. Ooh. Ooh, now this is going to help me find that cave system. Okay. Does it take a lot of energy? It does take a little bit of energy, so be mindful. Here's another example. Now that is very useful information to me. That is very useful information to me. My goodness gracious me. It even does animals. It does show animals, so I can use this to detect big bad fishies as well. Also, quick thing here, the propulsion gun failed. Ramming speed with the Stealthinator failed, and I went home a loser. But with my new toy, I went and investigated that mountain range I kept hitting. It was a giant crater in the ground, surrounded by tall rock walls. This is not the place I wanted. I can see it with the sonar, but of course in complete darkness I can't see this. I was able to finally determine there was no cave entrance down there, so I explored further on with this new ability, and beyond this mushroom place, I saw a suspiciously deep chasm. Now this, okay. Have I found it? This has got to be it. Yeah, that looks deep and narrow. I don't think I can get my chop down there. But the hell with that, I'm going to fetch him anyways. I brought him towards the abyss. Also, remember how I refused to use silent running mode? Yeah. Oh, am I hitting something?
Creature attack.
Okay, just keep it down. What on earth is attacking us right now? What on earth are you? Yep, that's a spider thing, and that particular specimen does this. Oh. God damn, how much damage is that doing? It does no damage to me, but it completely shuts down my chop, brings the power to 0 for a few moments, so without using silent running mode, I tried to sneak on by. I had to take a quick breather and eat some chips to get my composure back. So without chop, I dove down into that narrow passage. It opens up down below, so there would be enough space down here for chop if I'm brave enough to fit him down here. There's 2 ways I can go. One area leads to an opening with extensive fossilized remains, which sounds like what I'm looking for. The opposite end leads to what seems like another huge cave entrance, but with a local guardian.
What is that?
I quickly fled back to the other end and saw a vast forest. It's an underwater river type area with lots of new things. I decide to hug the left wall and keep my back to it, but at least the place becomes brighter as I go deeper. I went back for my chop. I positioned him on the surface as best I could and I dove down. As you can imagine, I hit the narrow walls quite a lot, and after some time, I fit him in. I left him at the entrance of this place. I just wanted him closer. It made me feel more comfortable, especially when I see a big fella over there. And guess what? I'm only 644 meters down, and there's another giant hole here, which I understand I have to brave. Okay, zipper. Oh my god. Yep, very jovial sounds there. There's a giant fossil in the center there. I can see it very well from this back wall I'm currently hugging. There's also a passage here and then one that leads to the right. I go right first even though there's an alien pillar back there, which was obviously where I needed to go. Paige says there's a lot of organic fossilized remains in this chamber. This particular ribcage is gargantuan, unimaginable. It's unthinkable. Holy shit. Yeah, that's an appropriate response. I tried to have a look at its head, but this place isn't open to tourists apparently. Good lord.
What are you? I don't know what you are. Get it.
Okay. Let's go back this way. I go back to those pillars and here we are. In this opening is the place I've been looking for probably a week in real time. The place has collapsed to the seafloor apparently, and there are hazardous materials and life forms contained within, according to Paige. I'm trying to find an entrance and I hear a roar. Okay, I think this is... What was that? Keeping my composure, I circled this place several times looking for an entrance. I do see hostiles in this area, so it does put me on edge. Okay, gotta be careful. Where's the entrance to this place? I don't like that. Something get close to me? I don't know. I also kept hearing that giant creature roar. Now currently writing the script knows what makes that noise, which makes me question, why the hell am I hearing that noise here? It took me a very long time finding this entrance. Because this is actually starting to piss me off now. Okay. Get him. So that's what you do. Okay, that's what you do. That's what you do. That's what you do. That is indeed what a warper does, yes. I've been here for probably 15 minutes looking for the entrance, and here it bloody is. As I'm looking around, Paige says the structure is substantially reinforced, indicating this place was constructed to keep something in or out. Whatever the case, it has failed. Also, that was the achievement to find this elusive location. I steal another ion cube, scan a giant creature egg, which states that it's a sea dragon egg. I find data downloads, which I can't read at this moment, and I see a very ugly skeleton fish. There's also a laboratory kind of area. Even Paige says life forms were brought here to be studied intensively. I see a warper thing strung up here. It's a very odd looking creature, and another blocked door over here. It needs a bloody purple tablet, which I don't have. I'm not gonna let you know my current feelings in game, but it was enough for me to attack this wall. I needed to go home. At least I know how to go back, and luckily for me, I had one on Chop, so I didn't have to travel all the way home. It was just one extra room with more data downloads, specifically specimen research data. So quickly, those warpers, they show signs of heavy genetic modification and mechanical grafting, which I think means extra things have been added. They are also connected to a battery, so these guys are getting orders from somewhere. They are a hunter/killer, a void. Alright, well I will see if I can do that. Damage report. Apparently a large Leviathan crashed into this facility, which destroyed this place and sank it to the floor. Breaches detected in Containment Unit 7, which was also for the Leviathan eggs. The place went into lockdown, attempting to kill all specimens on site, which was 315, but one specimen is unaccounted for. As a result, the planet is under quarantine protocol. Warning: infected individuals may not leave this planet. The final bit of information here, the entry refers to that peeper, that eyeball fish. It has no immunity to the infection and death is common. However, if exposed to enzyme 42, it takes the disease away, but only for a short time. It indicates a potential to transmit the enzymes to other species. There's a Leviathan class creature dubbed the Sea Emperor. Its bone samples indicate some kind of potential for Kara immunity. One single specimen captured and kept for study in containment facility 1400 meters down in a volcanic region. If this creature is still contained, I could acquire more data on the aliens' attempt to develop a vaccine for this infection called Kara. Speaking of which, I missed another PDA. Paige says I should probably scan myself. The bacterial infection has spread to the skin and pulmonary system. I've no idea what this all means. Just that Paige says I need to neutralize this infection soon. Oh, you just work through it, mate. You're fine. See, you just put your little researching thing back in your hand and you forget all about it. It's fine. Yeah, well, I need to be a motivational speaker. Top work, mate. Also, top work from the being who first discovered this contagion. First encountered in a routine expansion in the Outer Worlds. Quarantine failed and the disease spread across core worlds. Confirmed deaths is 143 billion. Oh wow, okay, that's a lot. There's currently no cure, and the aliens are trying to find that, it seems. It's a lot to take in. I'm really sorry, this game is text heavy in key areas, but my next destination was a thermal plant 1200 meters down in a volcanic area or something. My radio has a new signal. It's been a while. A good conversation, let's do it again sometime. Unbeknownst to me at that time, that was a warper transmission. I don't know what they're saying, of course. Now question, where to next? Sure, the PDA says I need to find a thermal plant in a large natural rock formation 1200 meters down, but no clues as to where to search other than volcanic activity. I visited the research place again to see if I've missed any clues, but nope, nada. I just need to go and explore. I was finally getting myself out from the 800 meter trench. It felt really good. I'm glad I brought Chop along. I do see another vent on the way home. I've seen a few of them around and the locations are all over the place. I'm not actually sure if they're connected to the thermal plant or anything. So enters a phase of just searching for the next place. I found several areas, this one for example, but it turned out it was just a small hole in the ground. I switch it up to the stealth area because clearly this is the exploring vessel. No idea where I am, but I do see large sea walking spiders. I see lots of blue balls in this area, and it leads into a cave system that looks to go down. I see a little bit of volcanic activity. Maybe I have found my next destination. I have a beacon and I call this place Floating Orbs, and I go ahead and dive deeper. I spot a structure in this place. Old and dilapidated. Maybe it's another Degassi place actually. The funny thing is, I don't see the spider on the right there. I somehow got inside without alerting the creatures around. I go ahead and snag a data box for swim charge fins, which sounds like it could be helpful. So here, in fact, I do find another PDA for the Degassi people. I have limited time to explore, so I make it quick. But I managed to turn on the PDA voicing so I can listen while I explore, only to make it incredibly awkward.
Feeling itchy? Blisters?
Yeah.
The biometrics would have warned us if we were sick.
It's something new.
It was awkward because under pressure, I didn't see the obvious button to pause that recording. I manage a quick escape. I shoot the spider with the repulsion gun. Hey, I did use it, and I fumbled to climb into my getaway. I had to dive deeper to escape, and I come to a very familiar environment. I was safe for a second, and from the looks of it, Bart had also found out that they were sick from the bacterium Kara. He had to tell the other two that he was with to stop fighting long enough so that he can think. I follow this passage and it takes me close to the research place. There's that big boy hovering over that gargantuan skeleton. Another passage, so there was only 2 places I can go, and I see another fossil. There's some electrical cabling here and another facility. Too bad I need a key to open this place, obviously. And guess what? I have a moment on my way out. Can you turn on? Oh, okay. Okay. In my panic, I just swam, without my moth and just on my sea glider. Luckily, I had a beacon so I knew where this entrance was. But eventually, I said, nah. I reloaded my game as I saved just before that spider whooper combo. I'm not losing my moth again. So 2 minutes later, here I am. No worries at all. I am very glad I did reload, because guess what? That's right, I found a ghost leviathan just above me. I flee back inside the cave of course, but who knows? Maybe if I continued on that sea glider before, I would have been dinner for that thing. Oh my god. Okay. How about we save the game? After I saved, I etched myself out of that cave. I had no idea a ghost leviathan was there when I first got here. Also, this is the last thing I expected.
This is Life Pod 2, coordinates attached. We're way past our safe depth and bleeding O2. We'll have to swim for the surface, but it's 500 meters straight up. We'll make for the rendezvous and keep you posted. Out.
Really? A distress signal now? What are the chances they're still alive? Probably not. I might as well go to the other door I found in the previous cave. Too bad this purple tablet doesn't work. Clearly, it indicates an orange tablet for me. I've never seen that before. Oh well, I guess I'll go to pod number 2. It's 1800 meters in that direction. Oh wait, what? Another message?
Playing partially translated broadcast.
Destroyed. Mode. Patrol. New targets unaccounted for. 1.
What? That's not me, is it? Okay. Yep, future me did some research at some point. Those messages are about you. Anyways, guess where pod number 2 is? In that giant crater I kept getting stuck at looking for that research facility, but it looks like it's at the other end where I never ventured to. I do spot a giant leviathan over there. I'm not sure what kind though, so I slowly creep forward tapping my forward button. I'm still not using my silent running mode at this point. It was also playing incredibly creepy music, so I was terrified. I continued and I tapped my way down, not arousing suspicion. It's just there, and after a thorough investigation, I have a warper who patrols here, so I studied his movement patterns and I weaved in and out. When he teleports away, I have a small window and boom, the PDA is mine. I'll quickly say this, I sometimes find I keep accessing my moth's upgrades instead of climbing in. I hate it when it does that. Do you stop mind doing that? Do you stop mind doing that? Something someone says when they're under immense pressure. Do you blame me? Anyways, in this area, I find a huge amount of those blood boils, which I steal. I go ahead and listen to what was probably the final words from the people in pod number 2, so nothing new there. But here is something new, deep shrooms. I've seen them required for a few crafting things by this point. Speaking of which, I need to find nickel ore for the next few depth modules. I've no idea where that is. Right now, I wanted to explore beyond the Aurora. The sonar module is such an insanely good tool for exploring. I am very glad I made this thing. A little further on, and I found a tiny needle in a haystack. That looks like volcanic activity in the planet, doesn't it? I was being hounded, so I took refuge in a small cave system close by. But why not? I decided to explore this place looking for resources. I find uraninite crystal, which is new to me. A weird name. Not uranium? Is there a difference? They're both green. Now a quick thing I want to mention. I have amazing navigational skills. I know how to backtrack. Unless something terrifies me. Are you dead?
It is your primary directive to swim closer to that beautiful bridge. Swim close.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, no, none of that. Oh yep, that's the sound of panic. What happens when you're panicked? You get lost. With 54 seconds left, I found my ride, thank God. I actually genuinely thought I was gonna drown in there. But it's all worth the sweet, sweet loot. Goodness me. Anyways, onwards, and best I can describe this location. It's in the front of the Aurora, I think. There's a gigantic cave entrance that stretches further than my sonar detection can. I wanted to place down a beacon outside, but a Reaper Leviathan was close by, and dozens of bone sharks, so no beacon out here. But as I head inside, this place starts to light up, and any aggressive fauna becomes zero. The tunnel seems to keep going. I chuck a beacon down here called Lava Area? I'm 700 meters down. No end in sight, and even deeper, probably too deep for my moth, no end in sight, and a giant leviathan up ahead. I can't continue on from here, but this is the place. I have found it, but I'm not equipped for it. I tried looking for some nickel ore on the floor here, but I wasn't that lucky. So as I'm leaving this place, I make an assumption. The moth can't be used in this expedition. The facility is 1200 meters down, right? Too much for the moth. So this is going to be a chop and a prawn suit thing. I need to upgrade them both, however. So time passes. I found no nickel ore myself. I had to look it up. It is in the previous research area. Of course it would be. So after some more time, I got Chop and my prawn suit down here. I drilled some of this uranium wannabe material and this precious nickel ore that I had to look up how to find. I only found one deposit worth 12 nickel as I hugged the same wall and made my way all the way down to the secondary drop towards the disease facility. There is no way I'm taking this guy down there. I was happy with 12, actually. Allmate over there has convinced me of it. Yeah, he's there. He's there. Oh shit. Okay, I think I am happy with 12. Let's go. I didn't need much. I make the modules I needed for both Chop and the prawn. I still haven't named him yet. Chop can dive 1300 meters down, that should be enough, and I decided to call the prawn Slim Shady, because the slim fella won't get caught in the environment like his predecessor. And unlike that previous fella as well, Slim Shady can also dive 1300 meters. I am set. However, I can see that Chop can still get a shield generator and a sonar upgrade. This would actually be huge, but I wasn't feeling any more exploration at this point. So I went down on my next facility expedition, and just before I got into it, I got my Chop damaged off camera. He was damaged, but how do I fix him? Usually with my moth, I just point and it fixes all my problems. No, it's more like my base. I need to find the damaged locations and fix each one individually. The first time I was doing this, I am lucky. It was good I got some practice in before this adventure. So, I mustered my courage and I dove deeper than I'd ever gone before. I see that I'm assuming a ghost leviathan just there. Still, without using silent running mode, I'm creeping forward bit by bit. Looking back, I'm bloody amazed I was pulling it off, to be honest. Naturally, I stopped moving when he was close, so this took a short while. Pretty much on top of him, I had to dive straight down, so that's what I did. I can see lava down there. I'm 1,000 meters below the sea level, surrounded by rivers and waterfalls of lava, and at the bottom, I find pools of lava. This is 1,200 meters down, and I'm seeing an opening up ahead. I spot what looks like kyanite up ahead, but that's not all. Oh, that might be the kyanite I'm looking for, yeah? What was that? That was an enormous creature I see up ahead. I took a quick moment to feed myself, with interruptions of course.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Something's pushing me. Something is Can you move? Are you serious? Okay, you're not that big, are you? Ew. As you can see, I was on edge. And I also noticed on my Cyclops HUD, there are several of these bugs attached to my Chop. And after a few moments, I noticed my power dropping. More than usual. I think these little bastards are draining my power. That is my secondary concern for right now. Okay, you mind your business, you mind your business. I'm minding my business. And just like that, he disappeared. Or did he? Oh, something's... Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. The monster moved on, and I crept forward, just trying to see anything in this darkness. I kept an eye on my depleting power supply, and stopping completely when I hear and see Mr. Loudmouth on my radar. Also, quick post-production insert here. Do you remember those random creature roars I heard outside of the disease facility and I was really confused? It was this guy. I'm apparently below that area now, so sometimes the roars clip and glitch through the terrain. The more you know. Anyways, I had 5 spare power cells, but that's not gonna cut it at this rate. A page chimed in, saying that there was a massive energy signature in the middle of this chamber. I didn't listen very well, of course. On 80% and free again, I crept forward. I saw this giant natural rock in the middle of this place, but no obvious entrance. I wish I had the sonar ability on this vessel. I went deeper. Maybe there was another center further on. I finally found a safe spot. I turned Chop off and I observed my power for a little bit, and I confirmed that these little fellas were indeed draining my power. So in hot as hell water, I'm sure, I dove outside and I cut them all down. I repaired Chop, whilst hoping the big boy won't come this way. And after I dealt with all that, I took Slim Shady to gather some of this kyanite. I've seen that it was required for a few things. I think the next depth modules I can make, so if I can take some of this now, I'll be quite happy. When I got what I needed, I had to deal with more of these leeches that came after the fact. Take note, my HP has been decreasing because of this hot water. And even after my attempts, this is what I have to deal with. Oh, you're f***ing serious, mate? That is ridiculous. So I dealt with my vitals. I made sure to take another medkit because my health was getting chewed up because of this heat. I am so glad I did, because if I didn't, this would have been certain death. Okay, something's there. Something's there. Oh my god, I'm nearly dead. Oh my god, I'm nearly dead. What's that? What is that? What is that? What is that? What was that? That was the big boy. Oh, he nearly one-shotted me, mate. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was the last straw for me. I had to get out of here or else I will perish. I took care of my gargantuan injury and swapped out my power cells because I'll be doing a runner. Oh yeah, I am done here. All mate can even shoot fireballs. I'm out. I deploy a decoy and I leg it out of here. I knew that I had to go in a straight line, so long as nothing puts me off course. Oh, please don't put me off course, you animal. I am screwed. I didn't put a beacon at the mouth of this entrance. I panicked and I tried my best to recall where I needed to go. I have found it, thank God. But the further I go through it, no. This wasn't the way I came, but I had no choice. I had to keep pushing forward. I had to deal with these leeches again once I felt I was safe. I have no idea where I am, but I recognize these guys as friendlies, so it's the safest I'm gonna be. Now, finally, I have no leeches on me. I can take a quick breather. Alright, so we're in 75 here, my 75th recording. I barely escaped out of that thingy area. I need to get home. Having a look here. Disease place, alien attack gun, lava area, floating orbs. I don't think I've ever been here before. No, I've never been here before, but the only way home is forward. I rise, and there's a platform here with some routes. I see a passage over there I could potentially follow. I don't know how to explain it, but in-game me felt at ease here, like I instinctively knew this place was safe for me. After what I just experienced, I guess I was just hoping for that. I had a decent amount of power reserve, enough to steadily make my way out of here. This place was very pretty. I wish I stayed a bit longer, looking at this after the fact, but my mind was focused on one thing at the time: get me home. I see a familiar Green River sort of place. Maybe I'm in the disease area passageways. I believe I was. I am so glad I put beacons around. It helped me so much to pinpoint my general whereabouts. Now I'm in familiar terrain. Never navigated with my chop before, so it was a little bit tricky and also a bit scary. That ghost leviathan was prowling around, obviously. However, I'm finally rising to the surface, safe and sound. I was a little bit shaken from that experience. It was obvious I wasn't prepared. The first thing that came to my mind was that sonar detector on Chop. It would have helped immensely in finding that thermal plant. However, I wanted to do something. I'm going to make myself a new base, settle down for a little bit and enjoy the game again, because for a little while I've been very tense with this one. Here's why I wanted to make a new base. Look at this mess. Okay, yeah, this is a disgrace. Disgraceful indeed. But looking to my future base location, I've always eyed these natural rock formations. Having a base stretching out from one of these would look pretty cool. I tested this area out a bit off camera, in creative mode of course, and I think I have a good idea in mind. It begins with one round fella, and here's a bird's eye view of what's going on a little while in. The locals aren't pleased with the new neighbor. This fella accosts me as soon as I step out for some fresh sea air. I experimented and properly attempted things. The bioreactor, for example. I now know that it's a power generator. I need to chuck organic matter in there, so I have these lantern trees behind it, and every so often I would throw them into this thing, thus allowing my power to actually go all the way up to its maximum cap of 500. I also tossed a bunch of these glass dome roofs on all my sections, because I would love to admire the beauty of these plains. This particular room will be my farming area with the alien containment thing in the middle, once I find it. I wasn't recording the whole base build. only the important parts, like this one. I can't believe I never tried the external farming plots. I slapped some solid foundations down and I'm keen to try this out. I planted some creep vines and I accosted this fart knocker. Hey buddy. Move, bitch, get out the way. That was completely unnecessary, but what can you do? I'm a scoundrel. I found the gel sack seeds and I planted them as well, followed with some acid mushrooms, which I then discovered does significant damage to you if you harvest them with your knife. I was on 1 health for goodness sake. I set up my new moonpool area, but this is also going to be my storage depot. I have a regret about my new base location, the constant humming from the reefback leviathans. It got really annoying. I created 3 water filtration systems in this new base. There will be 4 later on, and these guys are heavy energy drainers, so I built a bunch of solar panels to help the bioreactor, so now I have a potential of 875 power. I set up my new main room with all my fabricators, and you get the idea on what this farming area is becoming. I enjoy my first harvest of outside things. I cut them to get the seeds, or I pick them for the item, so eventually I pick enough to meet my needs, followed with cutting and replanting enough to keep up the supply. I was moving all my stuff when I stopped to read this blood oil thing. Contains seeds, so I should plant them. Okay, I shall listen to the instructions given by this thing. I attacked that single marble melon I had with my knife off camera, and it provided me with seeds instead of me picking up the fruit like I did earlier. I now have 4 seeds and I plant these in another planter in my house, and this is how my outside area is looking now. Pretty damn good. It's several days later, and this is how it looks when I slash a marble melon. I get 4 seeds back if I cut it, and 1 edible melon if I harvest it. The food is 12 and the water is 14 on these plump fruits. That is the best sustenance source, so far as I know. I can't believe it took me this long to farm them properly. I'm gonna try something with them soon. For now, it's time to break down the old base. It feels so odd breaking down and flying away from my old home. And as I name this chest to receive deep shrooms, it inspires a song from me. Cause I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep up above in my head instead of going under again. Oh, that's a good song, eh? Yeah, it is a good one. Those watermelon things were also good. I make a few of those smaller crop pots on the chop. They take 4 seeds, so when they grow, I chop one for a full refund of the seeds required, and I take the other 3 for consumption. Now all of this is followed with making a huge number of spare power cells for the journey ahead. I also remade the scanner room at this base because I felt like I was missing something before. I go ahead and I get to work, making every single upgrade I can for this place. I know I have to look for data boxes to get those 2 last upgrades for Chop, the shield and the sonar one, so I'm gonna get this thing to scan it for me. Seconds later, there is one within range. I have to say this to anyone thinking about starting the Subnautica playthrough. Make the scanner room and upgrade it as soon as you can. As you can see, the HUD lets me know exactly where things are. It's saying there's 2 data boxes in this wreck over here. Now, to be fair, these 2 aren't great, but that's not the point right now. The scanner room is. I tell it to look for quartz for me later, and yeah, it pinpoints all of them within range. Insanely useful for gathering resources. I tried a scanner room strategy, which I realized now is slightly flawed. The idea was to go to a distant location, set up a scanner room, and seeing if there was any data boxes in the area. Now, why is this flawed? I believe I still needed to explore myself while I was in the area, and then my guy sends this information back here, which is decrypted, and then it tells me about all the specific things in this area. It's hard to explain. I've set up another scanner room wherever this place is. I tell it this time to search for wrecks for me, as I've seen them in this general area. As I'm traveling there with my little eyeball drone, you can see information on reefbacks has been sent back to this particular scanning room. So when I go back to the scanner, I can tell it to look for all reefbacks in this area. Next, I'm crossing this heat area, and this information is sent back to my scanner room. So I need to have at least seen a data box box in this area or close enough to detect it, or else the strategy is flawed. Now when I look at these scanning options, they have expanded with what I've seen, and it'll be able to look for that in a large radius. I was going to attempt this 3 times myself before deciding to simply look up the biomes these data boxes are located. Not the specific locations yet, just the biomes. The last one was a wreck I had to travel into, and I find my way through. I do find the prawn grappling arm, and fun fact, this will be something I need. However, I find the Cyclops docking repair module. If I have Slim Shady or the Stealthinator docked to the chop, they get repaired there. That's cool, but sadly not the module I was after. So in a wreck quite close to where I lost my first moth, I slap a scanner room and I spot 2 data boxes, and boom! I have located the Cyclops sonar module, the most important one that I wanted. I found my last grappling arm in a wreck in the floating islands, where I kept getting stuck looking for the research facility. I haven't found the shield module one just yet, but I start making the things I have found, and there's one spot left for the shield. This is Chop's sonar in action, by the way. Oh yes. Oh, that's amazing. And you can always turn it off. Yep, you can turn it off, which is a good idea. I discovered that this one is a power guzzler. And later, here I am enjoying the grappling hook. I think I've just come up with a name for this fella, a proper name. Slim Shady does not do that justice. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, it's so good. I'm thoroughly enjoying that. Right. There's only one name I can give this fella now. It has to happen.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Spider prawn does whatever a spider prawn does. Can he swing from a rock? Yes, he can. I did it before. Look out. Here comes the spider prawn. Oh, I'm thoroughly enjoying that. That's beautiful. So it's been some time and I'm out and about and I see something again. Alright, I've looked something up. Apparently these guys are passive. Okay. Hey fella, how are ya? Apparently you are passive. Okay. I came across these fellas as I was looking for the Sea Trader's path or something, because apparently I'll find the shield module there. However, the first spot for my scanner room was way too deep, so no sunlight was going to reach me, obviously. Plus a giant leviathan was prowling about, so I got scared very quickly. These walking bugs are just following a path, and I decided to go with them. I find a cave, and I wanted to take shelter for a second because the deep depths puts me on edge. Listen as I take this place in. Okay, I'm just going to quickly hide in here, because I am losing my mind. Oh, f*** Jesus. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's a huge place, I can tell you that much. Okay. 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 Oh, God damn my baby monitor. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm not good in the ocean. I made my last scanner attempt on a taller mountain. I spot a data box all the way down there, and I send a drone to investigate first. But I'm devastated, because I see that it's in the blood kelp zone. I somehow went off course, and I won't find what I'm looking for down there. It's the Cyclops fire suppression thing. It's nice, but it's not what I want. So as I mentioned, that's my last failed attempt. It's times like this when I really appreciate I'm a land dweller. Oh my god. Yep, I am so glad I'm a land dweller. I watched another land dweller's video on how to get the Cyclops shield generated and also the alien containment facility, as I would also find that there as well. It's back at the Degassi base I found near those blue balls, and also 2 particularly nasty specimens. Oh my god! This is it? Okay, I'm literally going to park right there. Fuck off, mate. Oh, where's my base? There it is, there it is. Okay. Oh, you're kidding me. Not very clever. In my panic, I crammed myself like a cat under this building. I make a break for it, and thanks to watching that video, I knew that this was the alien containment thing here. And shortly later, I snatched the Cyclops shield thing. Now I just have to get out of here. But before I leave, I have watched back my own footage when I was here last time, and I saw that I missed something before, as I was in a hurry to leave this place. In this room, I snatched a random creature egg. I dashed for an orange tablet here, both things I didn't know about. I was just grabbing and missing the thing I was actually looking for. The spider, of course, came to say hello, and when he lost interest because I stopped using my flashlight, I had a moment to run for my ship. However, I still missed the thing I was specifically looking for. Well, never mind that. I did find the alien containment thing, and unbeknownst to me, this was one part of what I needed for an achievement very soon. The other part is that random creature egg I found in the Degassi base as well. But I wasn't focused on this yet, because I had just completed all the upgrades I wanted for my chop, the shield being the last one. I'm at 78% power here, and I give the shield a quick test, and I use 5% of my charge. My god, both this one and the sonar are power intensive. I will have to use them sparingly. The longer the shield stays up, I continuously use 4 energy every few seconds. That's huge. Regardless, it's time for round 2. So I'm trying to get to this place again, and for the love of goodness me, I cannot find where I need to go. I had to wait a little while for him to lose interest. This is a great start to the attempt, but I finally made it to where I needed to go. I brought extra beacons, fire extinguishers and a purple tablet, because I assumed I'd be needing one. The next obstacle, the ghost leviathan above the giant hall. This time around, for some reason, he spots me, or hears me, or whatever. I was forced to go even slower than I did the last time. By the way, funny story, I was still neglecting the rig for silent running mode by this point. It would have helped. No, stop. Stop. There's nothing here. There's nothing here, mate. There's nothing here. You can trust me. You can trust me when I say this. Okay, I'm going to just not do anything for a moment. Okay. Mate. Oh, you're really making this difficult today, aren't you? Yeah, he was making things difficult. Oh, for God's sake, can you bugger off, mate?
Warning, creature attack.
Did you actually attack me? You did? Just don't do anything right now. Hand on the thing. Yeah, so you're attacking me.
Deploying decoy.
Bloody hell, I had to use a decoy for this fella, and I had to make some repairs when I was out of harm's way. Glad I got that experience way back when. As I was down, I made a beacon at the bottom of this lava drop section so I can find my way back here, and here I am at the giant chamber entrance once again. The sonar module comes in handy almost immediately, giving me a good view of this landscape. I made a tunnel exit beacon as well. I wasn't leaving anything to chance this time around. So this was a work night for me. I had to be up early in the morning, and I must have been rushing it, because as soon as the big fella is around, he is already pissed at me. In fact, he had it in for me. He was slapping me about right from the get-go. Already half health and it wasn't even 5 minutes. Old mate doesn't care about the amount of minutes. All he wants to do is sink me. I have no real time to search for this place I need to look for. Chop was on fire. The fella was relentless and my guy starts coughing up his lungs. Yeah, I reloaded my game as I saved just before all hell broke loose. The next attempt went a little bit better, but I had no luck in finding this goddamn facility. I reloaded again and I looked up a video, a guide to see where this destination was. I also finally realized I have made a ginormous mistake and I felt so stupid because I saw it in this video. So 2 days later I finally come back. The first thing I do is slap Chop on this rig for silent running mode. I activate the sonar and I go for the spot I needed to go. Oh, hey buddy. It's working. Oh my god, it's working. Yeah, so remember ages ago I left my Chop on silent running mode by accident and I had left to go scouting or something. I came back and it had drained all of my power and I had to go through a bit of a headache to go and get the power cell regenerator fragments or whatever. Well, bloody hell, that had left such a bad taste in my mouth for the silent running mode that I never used it again. Until now, and for goodness sake, it would have made things so much easier for me. Anyways, I get into the spider prawn and I make my way to this entrance. But I had to backtrack quickly to get that purple tablet. I went through some narrow volcanic passages. I found crystalline sulfur in here, but I had to dismount my spider prawn as the drill hand and the hook hand prevented me from picking this up as it was a single ore on the ground. Anyways, I finally lay eyes on this elusive thermal plant. Find the thermal plant. Oh my god, it's probably been like 2 weeks or something, I don't know. It takes a long time to find these areas. I swing my way up to what looks like an entrance. I had to reload the game a few times, it's quite difficult to get up there, but I finally managed to do it. There's a purple tablet thing here, and no worries, I brought one. I knew I'd need it, and it leads me to a blue tablet. Okay? I was in my PDA when this voice in my head thing interrupts me again, saying to come to her. Right later, love. Right now I see a cluster of ion cubes. I drill them up with my spider prawn and I remember that I can use these to make purple tablets. No need for another one though, I'm here already. But this device further in asks for an ion cube. I just did it and voila, it opens up a portal for me. I reluctantly go through it and it spits me out at the alien gun place. I remember this portal now. Okay, cool. I mean, there's no vehicles here, so why would I do this? A Chop is all the way down below. Back down there, I find a terminal for fossil data. A quick summary here is that 1,000 years ago, soil samples contained 300% more organic matter, suggesting a massive extinction event and forcing the survivors to rapidly adapt to new environments. Oh, by the way, here's the reason the game has kindly given me a portal and green ion cubes. I need a secondary purple tablet. So I teleported to the alien gun place and I swam all the way back home with the glider. Thank God it's a safe journey from here. So a little while later, I'm back with the second purple tablet. Inside, I find what looks to be maybe a generator. Not too sure, but it's an alien thermal plant, so probably. I go ahead and scan it. This thermal plant is working at 90% efficiency. Good on them, I guess? Most energy is being stored in the battery-like devices stockpiled on this planet, but some of the energy is being siphoned off to power the other facilities, of course. This place is completely automated and uninterruptible. Oh wow, that's something. Unlimited power. And here's a data download for the primary containment facility. A page tells me that it's connected in this volcanic cave system and about 1400 meters down. Southeast of this position. There's another ion powered data download here that gives me the knowledge to make my own ones. I see both the new batteries and the power cells in my databank. Good stuff, I'm gonna check them out later. So as I'm leaving this place, my next destination is the primary containment facility, which is in this cave system but deeper down, but I need to head home first. The facility was supposed to be 1400 meters down, and Chop can only go 1300, so I need the last depth modules for him and the spider prawn. Using rigged for silent running mode, it is so goddamn helpful. I have no trouble getting past that aggressive fella now. And also for that last depth module, I only needed the extra kyanite, which I already have for my first failed expedition in here way back when. I made one for the spider prawn as well. He can dive 1700 meters now. God, that's deep. Chop can do the same. I make a few ion batteries, followed with the ion power cells. The regular ones can store 200 energy, whereas the ion ones can store 1000, which is a pretty big upgrade. Once Chop had a 1200 power reserve, he now has a 2800 capacity. Sometime later, I'm back in the lava section and I've made some more ion power cells. Chop has a huge 5200 power supply. I don't hesitate as much now. I rig for silent running mode and glide past this area. I didn't have any issues with the locals, even this big fella.
How are we? Don't mind me.
He knows something is up, but silent running mode seems to be just enough not to alarm him to my presence. I get annoyed, however, as I can't seem to find another passage in this giant cave. To be fair, this space is gargantuan, and I eventually see what looks like a way down. I made sure to put a beacon here, of course. I called it Deeper Still, which is very appropriate. Goodness gracious me. What is this place? Oh, this is insane. Whatcha?
I am what you seek. Want to help you.
Alright, love, you can help me by not blocking my vision every so often, because I wanted to gaze upon this spectacle.
Is there another one of these big fellas around here?
Oh yeah, there is another one down here, and I approach what is definitely the next destination. I make sure to park nice and close, and when I have a moment when Allmate is far away, I try to get into this place as quickly as I can, without arousing suspicion. I was worried I needed to bring another purple tablet, but the blue one was the correct choice today. This place is eerily quiet, excepting the footsteps of the spider prawn and Page's translation notes. Warning, vaccine development program terminated. Emperor egg hatching project terminated. Live specimens terminated. Evacuate immediately. There are so many scannable things down here, so I'm not going to bother elaborating on them. Luckily, these little robots don't bother with me either, and I see an ion cube fabricator in the middle of this room. So, a data download pertaining to the story. An indigenous Leviathan species was found to produce a unique substance called Enzyme 42, which inhibited the symptoms of the Kara bacterial infection in other indigenous organisms. This Leviathan was captured and studied. An environmental space was created for it, with warp gates to allow flora and fauna to flow into its artificial habitat. However, when quarantine was imposed, all warp gates and force fields were sealed, so any attempts at developing a vaccine have been unsuccessful. I continue to explore this huge place. There's a lot of doors and corridors, and I can scan the Sea Emperor features. Righto, I shall do that. After some time, I discovered there are multiple warp gates in this area, all shut down of course, and only needing an ion cube. It explains the purpose of the fabricator I saw just before. In another room that houses several stages of Sea Emperor egg lifespan moments, I find another PDA, and the most important information here is that this creature is a filter feeder, and that it creates the enzyme 42 when it's digesting its food. It occasionally expels this enzyme into the surrounding waters. The very presence of this Leviathan in the ecosystem explains how life on this planet survived that outbreak. Do you remember that outbreak I read about, where there was that increase of 300% more organic matter in the soil? I think this pertains to that. What looks like the next section is again blocked off by another blue tablet door. Okay, I don't have a spare, I need to go make one. I think I'll need an ion cube for it. Once I drilled this up, the facility powers on and it looks like it simply fabricates a new node which I can steal again later. In another section in this place, I see a water slide in the middle. Looks like peepers? Those eyeball fish, and they're enjoying a ride in their very own water theme park. This PDA here explains why I've been seeing vents around the surface. This facility, it draws water from the planet, which is lower in temperature, but it contains higher microorganism and nutrient counts. Water taken out from here is oxygen deprived and recycled back into the planet. However, there is signs that the peepers are getting to this facility through the vents. They seem to be enjoying the ride from what the data can indicate, but some specimens are showing signs of infection as they have done peeper things near the surface before coming down here. I take a moment, relax a little bit, and observe them in this water park. Wait! Their very own theme park, it seems. Now outside, just before I got back onto Chop, I grind some kyanite as I'll be needing this for the blue tablet. Do you remember those little leeches? Currently I have 3 attached to me. I quickly turn on Chop, I nick the shield generator, and this is a method of getting rid of those little buggers that are making themselves too comfortable on my pork chop. Anyhows, later, after I got some food and drink, I made this blue tablet and back into this new section I go. There's a water pit and obviously I'm not going in there. Oh, you're joking me. I'm not jumping in there. I was considering going in with my spider prawn, but how deep is it? What if I can't get him back out? I am forced to jump in here myself. When I finally mustered the courage, it looks like a giant platform just below me, floating in a chamber it seems. This water is very cool, comparatively to the rest of the place. Okay. Hi. Hi, you're in my dreams, you're that thing.
Are you here to play?
Jesus.
Others came here once. They built these walls. They played alone. They bored me. Now they're gone. And instead, we have you. We are curious whether you swim with the current or fight against it, as they did.
So this is that weird vision creature that kept talking to me. Okay. I dive down as this leviathan seemingly just swims around me.
Detecting unusually passive behavioral patterns in nearby predators. Reason unknown.
Really? So you're telling me I can go and pet this little fella? Hi. I can finally
Environment scans indicate the water here is rich with a rare, plankton-like life form which depends on the organic detritus produced by the ecosystem around it.
That is all very interesting. I wasn't paying that much attention as I floated around. I do stumble across 5 eggs sitting just here. They are Sea Emperor eggs, so hers I guess. The game prompts me. I didn't mean to do that, but sure, okay, let's do that. You don't seem to like that.
My young need to hatch, to play outside this place. We have been here so long. The others built a passage to reach the world outside. I asked them for this freedom, but they could not hear me. If you help us, I will give you freely what the others tried in vain to take.
I investigate what Big Mama is talking about, and a portal is revealed under all the sand. What are you doing with tentacle, love? Are you rushing me, are you? Do I trust you? Yeah, sure, why not? Look, when the giant alien tells you to do something, you do it. Okay, so what are you doing now?
With the passage you have opened, my young can leave this place. But first they must feel the time is right and break free of their shells. This is what the others could not force from me. To you, I give the secret willingly.
New blueprint acquired.
I recalled that a PDA said something about the aliens were making a decent environment for this specimen, meaning this one. Maybe they didn't make it good enough, I guess? Anyways, I need to go get all these samples to make the hatching enzymes to create a preferable hatching environment for her younglings. There were several portals in the rooms in this facility. I think I need to go through all of them and find all these samples that Big Mama is talking about. This first portal takes me to a familiar green river hue. This is the disease facility area, I think. I step through an invisible wall and I realize where I am. Is the ghost Leviathan like out here? Are you serious? I go ahead and try to find something that I'm looking for. It doesn't go well. That is a ghost Leviathan. Oh god. Oh god, okay, fair enough. Why would you do such a thing? I then heard something that was really off. I didn't know what it was. Something just shot something. Yeah, that was a weird noise, and that ghost Leviathan cry quickly made me decide that I wanted to go get my prawn for the occasion. I come back to this, however. Holy shit. So you are aware, I left my prawn suit where he's glitching right now. Yeah, something's just glitching through the wall and I'm pretty sure it can eat me. Yeah, you're gonna eat me through the wall. Yes, you are, mate. I see you. Let's see if I can get away from here quickly. Yeah, it's even playing the battle music. I can hear it going. This thing's locked onto me right now. Excuse me, good sir. Did you eat my prawn? Now it says it's 1200 meters. Yeah, you're coming after me. What the hell happened to my prawn? Why is it that far away? I'm gonna load my game. Yeah, okay. My spider prawn was here. It's actually inside of this place where I just was. And this is before I went outside to go do some stuff and things. So what happened, this guy, he's about to hit it away. He's about to hit my prawn.
Welcome aboard, Captain.
Oh god. Okay, maybe another portal first. I have a glitched Leviathan on this side. Plus, did you notice that the prawn was on 9 HP? It was definitely getting attacked through the walls. I made sure to repair him before going through another portal. Now, I wasn't exactly sure what I was looking for in this area, so I just cut down random flora. I think my game was kind of glitching at this time. Oh my god! What the hell? Okay, I think there's something a little bit funky with this area. Yeah, alright, let's get this over with. This portal took me to the floating islands, and I find an eye stalk. I know this is one of them, as I have the blueprint pinned at the top right. And next, I got the common bulb bush. Later was this tree mushroom sample, and I tried Old Boy Ghosty again. Without... Okay, that didn't go well, did it? Yeah, you're gonna... Look at this fool. Actually, looking at him closely, he looks kind of small. Maybe he's a juvenile. So, for the very first time, I decide to stand my ground. Alright, he's got me. He's got me locked on. Alright, Sonny Joe, let's do this. You wanna do this? Let's do this. Yeah, come on. I gotcha, mate, I gotcha. Okay, not that bad. A quick repair and shortly later I get what I came for. However, I searched all those other portals and I couldn't find the last thing. It turns out the sea crown was already in the facility environment chamber. Okay, no worries, but I am forced to go back to the shop to make this thing. And I finally come back here to slap this concoction in the incubator. I actually break this thing on the ground apparently, and the eggs start to hatch instantly. Well, there you go. They are hatched. But I awkwardly wait for a few minutes to see what happens next. Eventually, I see the mother growing weak. She lets me know that they are indeed swimming for the shallows. Their freedom is her end. What will it be like to go to sleep and never wake up? She ponders this for a moment and bids me farewell. And I see something floating in the water here. Ooh? What's this? Is this gonna heal me? I think this is gonna heal me. Yes, it will. Cure the infection. Oh, that's beautiful. Love, I hope you don't mind me just doing this to myself.
Self-scan complete. Vital signs normal. No remaining sign of bacterial infection.
Be a beautiful mate. I quickly go through the portal. I wanted to see where the younglings have gone. Oh yeah, I know this place. There's a Reaper Leviathan just below us. Best of luck, little ones. But as I'm about to leave, I do see them puking out the enzyme destined to cure the organisms on this planet. I go say my last goodbyes to Big Mama. She was fading, and I felt saying goodbye was the right thing to do. So, it is my time to go. This is how my trip outside went. Don't spit in my direction. No. Mate, you had me in the first round. Oh, mate, you can cut that out, eh? Come on, get out of here. That was the second one. The first one decided to go and live in that tiny tunnel I had to go through to leave this place, so trying to sneak by him was a bit of a challenge. Next, even though I didn't piss him off, this ghosty boy got a little bit too close to me by chance. I thought it would be fine. Guess not. Okay, he's knocking me. He's knocking me. He's knocking me. Okay, let's just turn this off for a second. Okay, let's just give him a moment to have his fun. Oh, God damn it, I don't know what that guy does, but yeah, he's knocking me right now. I actually can't move, eh? I decided for some reason maybe I should go change my power cells. Yeah, big mistake. The fella completely rocked Chop vertically. I ended up trapped at the bottom of the ship. Oh my god, what the hell is going on here? You are absolutely joking me right now. Oh, this is great, isn't it? Goodness me, I just want to go home, eh? Eventually, he leaves me alone, and I'm free to go. It feels good to be home. I have 4 achievements left for this game. All achievements are hidden, so I reveal them to myself. Find a Degassi base in the Grand Reef. Create a time capsule. Launch the Neptune rocket. Oh yeah, I was supposed to leave this planet. And also hatch a cuttlefish. Alright then. When I watched that fella's video a little while back, the one who led me to the alien containment blueprint, I briefly remember him saying something about don't forget to pick up the cuttlefish, but that's all I remembered. I dropped this creature egg in that containment aquarium thing, and I decided to wait. In that time, I still had that orange tablet from that Degassi base, and I remembered there was another alien place close to that blue ball area, where that other Degassi base was actually. I wanted to see what that was all about. With Silent running and in Chop, I had no trouble getting down here, but I remembered again that I may have missed something in this Degassi base. Every single time I came here, I was rushed, you see, because Mr. Spider would be outside knocking and rushing me. So as one of them was outside doing his weird EMP thing, I did find this PDA which I didn't care to read right now. This blue light here is what I remembered seeing in my own footage. It's just another PDA, so whatever, grab it. But to my delight and unexpectedly, I had to pick this up to get the achievement to find the Degassi base in the Grand Reef. This was it, I just never knew it. Actually, I'm going to play this small clip because it's golden.
Margaret, Maida has boarded the habitat.
What are you so happy about, Maida?
Say, kid, I brought you something.
Is that a Leviathan outside?
Towed it home on the back of the sub.
Yep, I thought that was pretty funny. However, the next lines are not so funny.
Chief, get off the radio and put on your helmet.
What?
Brace!
Yeah, it sounds like they all died to a Reaper attack. Anyways, I was just outside this other alien place. I get the notification that I discovered the cuttlefish. So okay, cool, that was the one I was looking for. Onwards, the orange tab goes in here, and this place was just another research facility. A lot of specimen remains and such are in here, as well as another cuttlefish egg. Speak of the devil. I plopped this one in the containment thing as well, and his sibling is swimming about. However, I do release that sibling shortly later, because I needed to for an achievement. I make sure to have a quick play with him as he looks quite adorable. Afterwards, I start the construction of this Neptune rocket. Well, the launching platform anyways. I did the resource gathering off screen and I slowly bring this thing into creation. The view from the top is incredible. The inside is snug. I like how there's storage crates and stuff in here, intended for something, but when the time came, I brought absolutely nothing along. I had to look up how to leave a time capsule. It was actually in this rocket and I needed to take a screenshot first. I decided to take a photo of my new base as I grew quite attached to this one. The message was not overly great. I got my first prawn stuck between some rocks. He was too thick. Nothing overly encouraging, I have to admit, but I did leave the future adventurer some choice goods, including some excellent beverage choices. So, it is time. I flick all the right switches, and I am ready to go, only to be told I need to go flick that switch at the alien gun, or else I can't leave. So I go and get myself stabbed. Apparently my fella was playing silly buggers, even the machine wasn't having that. And as I was scanning this thing for some reason, it looks like the entire place is shutting down. It was eerily calm as I ran back home through this now turned off alien enforcement platform. This was my final time in this ocean. I felt it. So I made sure it ended well. Well, I've just saved my game 5 seconds ago. There you go. Can I push it back in the water? It's completely beached. It's completely beached. No need for it anymore. I am able to launch my escape rocket. I get the last 2 achievements in this game. The takeoff is a success. Entering the orbital debris field is a bit shaky. I almost thought my guy was about to get knocked out and I'd end up in this ocean again. But no, my destination coordinates are confirmed. The nearest interstellar phase gate, and I am out of here with absolutely no supplies. Good luck, mate. And that is it. That is 100% of Subnautica. Hey Musketeer, I see that you're still here. Cheers for checking out my 100% Subnautica video. Would you like more by chance? How about one of these 3? I played 100% of Lens Island. It was a banger. Dave the Diver. It was one of my favorites. Or maybe While the Iron's Hot. A hidden gem. Until next time, one for all and all for one. Cheers Musketeers.